It's the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 East League. It's been 3 weeks running, and we're finally into just 3 days of play from our top 16 teams across those 3 weeks. And those teams will be participating for a chance to get into our global finals, our grand finals, kicking off in January. But you got to be top 9 at the end of these 3 days to make it happen. I'm Jason Kaplan, joined by Maxman and Kalaris there on the end.
Welcome everybody to the kickoff of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 West League Finals. We have waited 3 weeks to go ahead and get to this point.
Only 9 teams from the East, 6 teams from the West, and 1 team coming in from India made it into the PMGC Grand Finals. And with $6 million on the line, every team was playing all in for their piece of the pie.
He's gonna get the dog and the finish and the white, and he falls in the end at the Xavier. They just get the chicken dinner. All 4 remain standing. Getting slide away just like that. Knights, 5-2, huge kills on Eastern Star.
The Damwon game, the South Koreans ruining everyone's day. Oh! It's brilliant from Forest. That could have been in a completely different ball game from Nova. So way too close to the wire.
I mean, Order had some moments, but it was all parabolic. The other guys need to step up around here, Jason.
And BTR, they're getting sandwiched. But it's a sandwich of death.
Maybe keep me in check here, but I feel like this is like the official end of a dynasty for Bigatron. 6 kills, Mufasa in the buggy, Bull sending it away. Where are you going? Where are you going? Said Frozen. I mean, everyone knew the Turkish teams were strong, but to have 3 out of the 4 make it into the PMGC Grand Finals was incredible. Such dominant consistency from these players.
It is go time, now or never, into the crunch.
Through the final day in the East, Nova slipped out of first place, opening the door for Xavier from Vietnam to take a convincing lead going into the final match.
Ground to cover. Somehow, some way, Damwon Kiev made their way into the circle itself on the eastern building. They lost Junie in the process. A second place is all they're looking for. And now,
But Damwon Gaming, the dark horses from South Korea, they just wouldn't give up.
and they make it. Perfect timing for Damwon. They back the players off the window. They move up just as the crunch comes in. And Damwon are fighting for this top spot. It is a massive pay jump. Found our winners, and it is Damwon to come back swinging off an almost insurmountable goal. South Korea stand tall.
After things wrapped up in the East, focus shifted to the West. Going into the last 2 matches of the tournament, things weren't looking too good for Navi.
And I feel like if Navi don't really make it in top 6, it has to be one of the biggest upsets.
For that top 6, trying to make their way into the grand finals. And they have a beautiful position in this zone. So Navi, this is your chance. Time to pop off. Navi have had a horrible tournament. All tournament long here in the finals, and clutching it out here towards the end. A beautiful zone blessing for them, and they're taking full advantage of it.
After a huge chicken dinner in the penultimate match, Navi were looking good to qualify for the finals.
Here goes Football is pushing it onto Navi in 4th place. Tixie behind the snake in the grass. They don't see him. Nico goes down. When is Tixie gonna pull the trigger?
He's gonna devour them. He's gonna devour them.
Oh,
We get 2. Almost got ran over. What's insane? We just the 3rd one down as well. What's going on? This is too intense.
Tixie is screaming. Where are you?
Still, with so much money up for grabs, every team fought to the bitter end to take home as much cash as
I can't
possible.
believe this is how it's ending up. Ghost, next Rhea. Right now, everybody in the chat, put your hands up in the air for next Rhea's hands. And they're going to be counting a lot of $100 bills, but they're going to go down. Navi, clutching it up. Where's Navi going to end at the end of this? I don't know.
With the East and West League finals concluded, and our team from India locked in, we now had our 16 teams. The field was set
for the grand finals.
Biggest prize for a mobile game, of course, esports for first place. Coming back as a millionaire team by taking first place alone in this tournament, that's just never seen before, and that's a lot of pressure.
Come on, man, $6 million on the line, but all the players that qualified were pumped.
Hello and welcome to the North America Campus Series Season 2. It is time for us to get into the finals. My name is DK. With me is Max, and we're going to be taking you through all the crazy action here today.
Hey, I was jamming, man. That music at the start was so epic. I was like, I was going for it, and the other music was pretty good. So, hey, man, I'm feeling great here, DK. We're ready to jump into another day here, and the first day actually of the finals here of Campus Series North America Season 2. Which eyes is this one is red because I was crying because I didn't have enough Campus Series, DK. That's why. But my tears are now gone away as we're ready for the finals.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and of course, we'd also like to introduce a few interesting things. Oh yes, so we are going to be introducing the Aces dynamic of the day, right?
Yeah.
So we'd like to know.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
I thought I was doing it. I thought I was doing it. We rehearsed this, DK. I thought I was doing it. We were trying to have a little conversation at the start. Okay, I'll do it. We're going to be introducing the Asus dynamic of the day, ladies and gentlemen. What a surprise. Nobody told you that before. That's for sure. Definitely not DK. But I pointed the wrong way. To enter in the Asus dynamic of the day, you got to try and answer this simple question in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, which is, which team do you predict will be taking first place at the end of today? And to enter the giveaway, you got to put already the answer because that's pretty important, plus your game ID right now in the chat, and you have a chance to win up to 900 UC right now on your account. So you're gonna get quite a few chests opened up. If you're like me, you'll probably win nothing, but you can still give it a fair shot. But man, DK, I'm gonna try and enter, but as you know, I'm bad with predictions, so mine is probably gonna be wrong, like 100%.
Yeah, I mean, like I would definitely go for game changers because we saw them in that first week or the first day rather of play. They were really bringing some interesting plays to the battlefield, and with the other one, I'm gonna still stick with Mavericks, right? Because I on that second day with Group B, I said Mavericks is gonna be a team I'm gonna be keeping an eye on. So those will be my predictions that I'm gonna be going with. But I'm curious to find out what yours would be.
I mean, game changers, I would have to agree. Like, I think that not picking game changer would be a major mistake. So game changer, I think, is a big go-to here. But my team, and I think for many reasons, and we talked a lot about them, especially on the second day when we were covering Group B, was Dauntless. I mean, they were first place right at the end of the of that second day without a single chicken dinner. Once again, in showing how good their consistency was. And that's consistency only over the course of 3 games, which is really hard to do typically, right? It's very explosive results you're expecting. So you come into this, and now you don't have 3 games for the finals. You're going to have 6, 3 per day for 2 days. So we're going to have 6. Quick math for you guys. You're welcome. So I seeing how consistent they were, I think Dauntless is a very clear contender for the first place here to try and take home a portion of that prize pool. So yeah, those are going to be my 2 picks going into this.
Well, we were talking about that near the end of that second day where we said, you know, we'd like to see what both these teams are going to be doing once they step on the battlefield and they actually potentially clash, right? Because both these teams, both the Game Changers and Dauntless, you know, they would bring in such strong performances in their respective days. So who knows, maybe we could see some pretty exciting and some pretty spicy gameplay making its way onto the battlefield today. And of course, speaking about spiciness and all the action, we've got a few maps that the teams are going to be making their way on through, and let's hop into the maps to see what maps the teams are going to be working their way on through today. Of course, it is going to be a bit of a wrangle, followed with Miramar, and then, you know, closing it off with some lovely Sanhok action.
Wait, how do you say the map in the middle? Can you say it again for me, DK?
Miramar. I know you haven't seen it that much, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get you on the pronunciation. I was like, he said Miramar, and I'm like, what was he talking about? A new map, I don't know. Still Nova Candy though. That is still gonna. That's why my eyes are actually red, guys. There's Nova Candy. That's why we'll have to work with that. No worries. But otherwise, yeah, 1 map of each per day. So that means at least the cool thing, DK, is that if you have 1 issue on, for example, an Irango or Miramar or Sanhok today, and you work for today, there's some room to fix those issues going into the next days, right? So you're going into tomorrow, first day, your Miramar drop didn't work out. You can adapt your drop, potentially even your rotation going into day 2 to try and hopefully catch up that little bit of a poor result in that first game. So I think that this is a format where we could see that adaptability come into play, and I think that for these teams that have shown already good prowess in the semi-finals, this is definitely something that can elevate the lobby as a whole.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be quite exciting to see, you know, how much elevation we'll be having coming through on that. I mean, Miramar being a map that is quite, you know, known for its elevation, depending on which region of the map we're going to be moving through. I'm pretty sure that's not what you meant, but that's where I'm taking it with this one. But of course, we know also the teams are going to be utilizing our, you know, age-old, if we can put it that way, point structure, looking to see how best they can find themselves in a bit of a dominating position coming through on the overall leaderboard. So, you know, you've said this before, it's going to be the usual standard run of the show point structure, starting at those 15 points,
what a surprise,
trickling all the way down. Yes, where it gets to 13th to 16th place, not getting awarded any points for that. And I mean, this is quite an interesting change up because we know in the previous days, we had 18 teams participating on both of those respective days. And this time around, we are going to be moving into, I believe it's only going to be the 16 teams that would be represented right here in the finals.
You would be right, DK. That's a very fair assessment you just made right there. Yeah, we're gonna drop down from 18 teams down to 16. So we're not gonna have the early game madness, especially on Sanhok. That was a little bit crazy from time to time. We remember the semi-finals, right, DK? So this is gonna be a lot more chill, a lot more laid back. Until we get late into the game, of course. Then I mean, it is a game with guns, so I don't think chill is a word to describe it. But you know what? We'll try and be as chill as we can with a game that has guns in it. We'll have to see. But yeah, as we're ready to drop into our first game here, DK, of the finals of Campus Series North America Season 2. We talked about our top teams, you know, we talked about the Mavericks, talked about Dauntless, we talked about Game Changers. I want to ask you here, DK, do you have some underdog teams that, you know, maybe surprised you a few times and you think that on a good day, they might be able to bring an upset to the table and maybe snatch away that first place?
Ooh, that's actually a very good question, right?
Thank
Maybe
you.
they're hitless, right? You kind of caught me off guard on that one, but I definitely think I'd say they're hitless based on what we've seen in the previous season, right? Hitless being one of the teams making it back into the second season as well. So yeah, that would be a team that I would say could maybe bring in a bit of an underdog performance here as well.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think the hitless once again was that PMPL experience, right? I think this is one of the teams coming into this that a lot of people had their eyes driven to, and we're thinking, oh, these could be a very clear contender into the tournament. They did qualify, not very comfortably though. When you look at how they qualified in Group A, they did qualify in 7th position. You've got to keep in mind, there's only 8 teams that qualify. They were just barely above Maverick, that had 22 points, and hitless at 23, so pretty close down to the wire. So you never know, might be able to get a little bit more experience and get better. As look at that, he's got the Dune parachute. I didn't watch that movie, and I didn't read the books, especially. I know it's not just a movie. I know it's books. I know it's books. I should watch it, and read it, especially. But I don't know. It's apparently it's good, is what I heard.
Well, what's also good is going to be, you know, that kind of pairing we've got here with the flight path and the zone. And it's a very strange zone, seeing it so far over on towards that southwestern side. But, you know, this is now a great opportunity for the teams to step up and show us what they can do when the zone takes a bit of a swing like we currently have. And also, we've got a few teams dropping up relatively close together, up in Sosnovka and over towards the Nova crates.
Yeah, and George pole position is actually going to be heavily contested, it seems. There's like a lot of teams dropping in that vicinity. Seem like they are splitting away from one another, which is good. You know, hopefully you're not going to lose too many teams in the early stage. And we did apparently spawn into this game as a 15-team lobby, which is a little bit unfortunate. Seems like one team did not show up, maybe a little bit late to the party, but that's fine. We'll have to deal with it. Won't change too much. Hopefully it's just one team. I say, unfortunately here, what we see indicate Overhaul Esports spawned into the game, already having Mr. Hashtag and also Omega down and out of the game entirely, so only Admiral and Giant will remain. A little bit of a rough start, and not really something you want when you drop in this position of Sanhok Island, especially in midi-base, so you're gonna have to move away, and hopefully they'll be able to find a car to get to a decent drop-in, a decent looting location, should I say.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at Mint though, they're off to a really mint start. If I could be so bold to say that already, finding those 2 eliminations, that we know that being at the cost of Overhaul Esports, but yeah, now it's down to what they're going to be doing. I mean, Overhaul, they're really going to have to bring in quite a bit of an overhaul in their approach to see whether or not they'll be able to make it into those much later phases, because having only 2 players this early on, I do think it does put a bit of a dent in your strategies, at least coming through in this first match. And as we know, this is going to be the only wrangle of today, right? They'll have another opportunity again tomorrow, but you know, it's going to be a little bit of a touchy situation there. And as we speak about touchy, it is going to be the players here from Core also now about to just touch base with the players there from the side of UTG International.
Hey, maybe we're looking too much into this. Maybe they just didn't want to play as squads. They just wanted to play duos. They were like, you know what? We just want, get out. We just want to play duos versus squads. Like, it's the best way to play. That's what I do normally when I play with my fellow mates. That, I mean, I don't have friends, so I just play solos. But when I do, sometimes I'll try and play duos. Well, let's see how it goes. Corey, though, was a JPK. Oh my god, my English today is all over the place. But JPK, gonna try and. Wait, he wasn't heard there, surprisingly enough. Okay, but yeah, the footsteps must be heard now. There's no way. There you go. The push is going to be happening onto JPK. And the rest of the team that is not following, UTG might not want to send a solo player here on the forefront, because that is how you lose players for very little reason. So I'm hoping they're going to be very careful of their approach. Otherwise, JPK might just strike and get one easy elimination literally for free.
It's either that or Bomba is going to be living up to their name, right? And just coming in with a beautiful nade potentially getting sent across, but it's going to be a little bit of touch and go, as we can see. JPK now, about to get rushed. Up comes Bomba. He just drops it down with a DBS. Up comes the hits, and what a great start that is, though, coming through for them. Now, Kore, quads in a little bit of trouble here, already taking a little bit of damage, pretty exposed as JPK now gets sent back. But again, a fantastic start coming through here for UTG.
That's the most Umaiwa Mushinderu fight I've ever seen. Like, you were not ready for that about to happen, but here you go now. UTG International taking more free real estate in Southern George. And Corey really, normally in a situation, you don't want to take that fight. You want to try and leave if possible, but it is not an easy location to really dislocate you away from. And also, I believe in the location where they currently stand, the car spawns aren't really predominant, so you're probably gonna have to get to the garage a little bit further over to the right side of your screen over here. You can probably see it. There's a car spawn over there. But they're currently locked in like the big high ground buildings, and those are pretty hard to move away from, especially when you have a position like Bomba on that rooftop. Is getting the information with that third-person perspective. So yeah, Corey off to a very unfortunate start, and there's a chance that if things go really wrong, they could lose their next 3 players in just the matter of a few minutes here, DK.
Yeah, definitely could be a possibility, but I'm quite curious to see what Bomba's going to be doing. All right, we already saw that beautiful just bomb dropping performance coming in, picking up the first player for Corey. I know, but it's it's Monday, so what can I say? I warm up a little bit later in the week, right? I know, but
20 past 1.
Technically, it's Monday in NA, so I'm still caught up in Monday time. So whatever, it is what it is. Like the puns warm up as the week progresses. So welcome to a very fresh start on my pun cycle.
Actually, I'm crying because I was thinking I was going to cast with you again, DK. That's why I was like, oh no, it's coming, it's closer, it's happening today. No. Wow. See, Aces though actually picking himself like all of the eliminations. Is that the entire team out? I believe it is.
Wow.
Is that game change?
Yeah, that was the Gaming Reapers.
Oh, it's Gaming Reapers? Man, so many teams is like gaming or game in their name, and I'm getting confused. Like, I'm getting old. Like, I need new glasses. Okay, I can't read properly apparently. But yeah, Gaming Reapers gonna be out of the game already. There was a 15th place lobby, so down to 14 already. So this game is already speeding up a little bit. But most of the teams we saw already, DK, were already in the circle, so we're not really expecting too many big shifts to be happening here. Team should be in a decent position very soon, but it seems like UTG International are looking for blood here. They are hungry as they're going for the engage onto quads. That one nade could be huge. The cook is looking good. Gets a little bit of damage through, but quads gives him an angle away through the window. Quads needs to remain up here. Needs to wait for his team to potentially rotate. They do have some decent angles from those apartments, but and he's got that first aid kit. Luckily enough, still has 2 afterwards, but now he's got to try and stop that push, or he can just leave. And that works completely fine, but still doesn't look like it's going to be an easy pick for the fight, though. They are pretty low. A 1v2 is definitely possible for quads. The rest of UTG International here, DK, is nowhere to be seen. They're taking this as a 1v2.
Yeah, but I'm liking this aggressive push coming through from UTG. Now Quads just trying to get up behind this wall, trying to see if they can maybe find this angle coming through. And I mean, so far, suffice to say, this could be actually a bit of a saving grace for Quads. Oh, but it's going to be Buns coming through with some beautiful shooting right there on to Quads. Duck now, just going to be ducking in cover. Trying to see if they can find any of those potential angles. But again, a good push coming through here from UTG. Again, also, it's a 2-2 split that we see, but so far it's really paid off for them.
Yeah, I was a little bit scared of the 2-2 split, but I actually saw how they were playing it on the two-man split. It was actually not engaging right, DK, and they had one player on the roof. I think the game plan was, we know 2 players of Corey are actually in those apartment buildings. They're going to keep 1 player on the roof to just stop them from being able to rotate to quads, and we're going to push as a 1v2, and then we're going to get ourselves a free elimination. And now they got even a bigger man advantage. It's a 4v2. So if that was the execution, if that was the game plan, literally the execution on that was flawless. You can't go wrong with how they played. It was just good from A to Z, A to Z, Z. I don't know how you people say it. It changes all the time, I have the impression. But overall, it was really good execution. And Corey, as you've seen it, don't really have too many options. So in the water they go as they're trying to hopefully remain alive for a little bit longer in this game.
Yeah, definitely an interesting approach coming through. But now, as we progress over on towards the players here from Mint, we can see positioned right up in front of them. We've got the Forsaken Gaming team just holding up on the high ground. I'm curious to see what FlyGod is going to be looking to do with this position. I mean, currently, FlyGod quite isolated from the rest of the team. It does seem like they are, of course, positioned a little bit further down towards the southern edge. But this is a very, very spread out approach coming through here from Mint. So we'd like to see a little bit more of that, or at least I'd like to see a little bit more of that, that the team's starting to condense this position a little bit more, but I can understand why they are bringing in this current split, right? It's still early phases. They know there's a few players in the vicinity, and I mean, already they've got 2 eliminations to their name.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to catch on that point, but you got it on your own. Good job, GK, good job. Is that it's phase 2. You still got 40 seconds before the circle closes. They can remain in that split for as long as they, well, not for as long as they want, but at this stage, at least until phase 3, 4, they can afford to stay there if the circle is favorable to them. My one question mark is, if they all have a car, because they're a little bit on the wider split. If a team pushes, you must have those cars to react and have that reaction gameplay. So that's my one question for Mint, though. We're going to be shifting places. We're going to go over to 4-piece. A little bit back and forth, and unfortunately SK99 going to get pushed. Is not going to be an easy one to take. That nade could be huge, but unfortunately the man advantage is just not there, DK, and that push is going to be going further and really unlocking the entire fight in the next few seconds here. And with UMP, nice laser down, gets a little bit of damage on what I think was Pan. Now the team joins up and they're ready, but the off angle up top is going to be held down. He does get knocked and traded off. Turned out was a risky play, but it does pay off at the end.
Yeah, ooh, I mean, it's getting even hot in here, as you can see. Those nades are continuing to fly on through. Burger King trying to make a quick escape there. And this is now where 4-piece is really going to be put to the test. But I'm loving this approach, though. We've got Forsaken just applying such a big amount of aggression right on towards them. And then we've got the players from Mavericks Esports just holding on towards that western position. But now, 4-piece finding themselves in quite a bit of a predicament. But the same can almost, to a degree, be said here for Forsaken, because they need to be careful. Otherwise, Mavericks could be moving in on them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm thinking a third party could definitely be happening very soon, so just got to keep that in mind. Nice spray down, though, connects right onto 78G. Man, Burger King is playing on that position so damn well, but is it going to be good enough to make up for that 1v4 fight? I am not too sure, and Burger King, he's not going to be loving it this time around, though. He's going to be leaving at that position entirely, trying to reposition in a compound further down. And man, but it seems like the third party's happening, though. You talked about it, right? And there's going to be happening. Which team is it, though? I'm not too sure, but third party's going to be unfolding for sure. And Forsaken Gaming, can they hold their position, or are they going to be falling down in the next few seconds?
Well, we'll find out whether or not they will be Forsaken as the Mavericks now continue on to apply their own bit of pressure. We got Gund now just quickly about to get rezzed up there by Drew, but I'm curious to find out, right? If Burger King moves in, what would be the finishing phrase? Like, you would like fries with that or something along those lines? But now it is going to be the players from Dauntless also finding themselves in a bit of a hot situation here as UTG comes lasering down Alib, getting traded off as well. Let's see. There we go. Beautiful sprays coming in. But now, again, we find ourselves in a bit of a tricky situation. Game changes now right there in the pressure cooker.
Yeah, JP trying to also move away from that little bit of a high ground position. They are in a very good spot right now, UTG International. They're just bullying the rest of this lobby in this current location, and there's not much you can do. Bomber gave himself a really good spray, already up to 4 eliminations, looking for their 5th, while Dauntless is just lurking in the background, thinking, do we third party? Really, if I'm thinking about it, just in that position, don't have to push it. You have the circle advantage currently. You know that UTG International will have to push your way, so just hold down that location and spray at everything that moves. But it scares me a little bit because I've only seen 2 players for Dauntless, and UTG, if they just want to push it, like with the man advantage, it could definitely work out. So not sure what's happening for Dauntless, but things aren't looking... I mean, it's because they're down to 2 players. That explains everything. And he's... Whoa, what's that? Bomber, what's going on? Doesn't even take any fall damage right on the rooftops. And that just turns all of that fight on its head. Dauntless is just going to get wrecked after that. What the hell?
That was absolutely insane to see, but of course now it is going to be Team Aces coming in for a bit of a push here. VSM now just turning up the pressure. Beautiful spray down coming in, but with that, of course, you got to look at Turn taking their turn in the corner, and down they go. Yusuf laying down that finishing blow, but that was such an interesting approach coming in from UTG. I mean, they are really just on fire in this match, and Bomber, I mean, what's going on?
That's a good question. What is going on? I don't know after that last play what's going on. That's unfortunate, but I don't know if it actually worked out too good. I mean, in the long run, I mean, Dauntless are still alive, so I'm questioning if it did work out, so we'll have to go back to that play eventually in the Northern Edge. So Maverick's still back to their fight. They don't know he's there. They don't know he's in the car? Wait, what? He's there. He's right there. How do you... Huh? I got so many questions. What is happening, DK? Explain. Explain.
I think it's a glitch in the matrix we've got happening right here. I honestly don't know what that is because the player is just standing there right in between. But Drizzy now getting traded off. Goto coming in with some beautiful shots there as well. And this is where we get to see what Mavericks are going to be doing with this current position already. We know Ace is a team sitting on 8 eliminations to their name so far. Oh, look at this nade.
Oh, that nade is dirty, mate. Oh, Drew just gets absolutely clapped after that one. Minato, though, as a solo player, I mean, you're going to push that ace. There's no way. You have to push it. Goes in with the Lamborghini. Doesn't quite get the knock, and Yusuf is going to be knocked away in reverse. No, now down to a 1v2, and there's nothing he can do. Armor from down below. Did he get that knock, or was it Goto? I'm not too sure. I think it's Armor. Yeah. How did he get that? He was in the build.
Yeah. Anyway, that was quite an interesting push coming through there from Aces, already sitting on 12 eliminations to their name. I mean, the team closest to them currently is going to be the players there from the side of UTG. We can see situated more towards those northern edges. But now this is where we get to see what the teams will bring on through, right? 11 teams left, getting ready to jump into our fourth phase as the does shift quite in favor now. Ooh, but of course it is going to be an absolute devastation rolling on in here, as we can see the players from Better Than You now getting that devastating jump in on the deadly divs, and down they go. Max, 10 teams now remain.
Yeah, I mean, I asked you the question at the very start, and the question said, your underdog team. Normally, if you were polite, DK would have said, what about you, Max, man? What is your underdog team? And I would have said, wow, thank you so much for asking me, DK. I would have said Better Than You. And, well, it's too late now, I guess, with DK. They're already popping off. But Burger King doesn't want some fries with that, apparently. He's going to go out of the game entirely, and that's it. 6 eliminations for UTG, sure, despite losing Buns. I mean, man, what were the burger references? I don't know what's happening there, but it's up to still 3 players and 6 eliminations. UTG are really shredding it this game, it seems, and they're off to a really good killing spree.
Yeah, I mean, they are absolutely on fire, but as we can see, Better Than You, Mint also not too far behind, right? Sitting right there on their 4 eliminations, 2 eliminations. Dauntless also already on 2, but we only have a few teams left that have a full squad to utilize moving into this next potential phase. And this is again where we see the teams situated up in towards the northern region. They're giant, just trying to hold on. I believe that is going to be the players from the side of Dauntless that we have there. It's going to be a challenge, right? Because no, wait, it's not. Dauntless all the way up north. So either way, it is going to be a pretty tough play now for the teams trying to hold on to their current positions. We can see there's really not a lot of compounds left in the zone to really take much occupation in.
Wait, Dauntless are still there? I can't even see them. Where are they? Are they hiding? There you go. Oh, they're there. Oh, man, yeah. I mean, yeah, because I didn't expect them to be yellow because their logo is blue. And it was like, wait, that got me confused for a second. I don't know, man. Circle, really good rotation going to be coming out for some of the teams. Mint, pretty big split. I am expecting a pretty big approach from some of the southern team. And you're going to have even Kaki, another team, slowly moving their way in. Kaki crew looking for potential third party on that fight towards Longwood. Oh, Nucleotoid Esports are looking to disengage this entire position of Longwood on the eastern edge, and they're going to go for the eastern rotation, which I cannot argue with. They scouted the location right up north of their vicinity. They know it's overtaken. Let's just go for the wide rotate and avoid it entirely. Unfortunately, Dauntless, for them, it seems like this fight is unavoidable as their car is now out of commission and they're only down to 2. UTG International, knowing them, they want those 2 eliminations ASAP.
Yeah, they're definitely going to try and pick up as many as they can. They want to try and push it up onto 8, but with that, Private now gets traded it down to Cream to try and put the cherry on top. But will they be able to get that pulled off successfully? Meanwhile, we can see a few more hits coming through. Ooh, but look at that bomber. If Cream was outside, Max, that would have been the end for Cream right then and there.
Yeah, that would have been GG well play, but seemed like they're trying to hold on by a thread. Cream still has a smoke in hand, so they're going to try and give it a fair shot. But the thing is now is that the other side also has to rotate, so it's not only Dauntless. We're going to have to move away from this location. There's going to be the other squad too, and seem like they want to go for the aggressive play. They're going to go for the push. They don't have information though. This is a risky play from JP. He's going to give it a shot, going to go straight inside that shed, trying to go for the pre-fire here with the UMP. Going to try and switch weapons too. Don't know where his secondary is, I believe it's an M4, but he's going to go for the push once again. Gets a lot of damage through while his team is supporting him from a distance, while there's a third party happening from the compound down below. But JP puts the sick 1v2 versus Dauntless, and he puts the team up to 8 eliminations. DK, they're aiming for the win here.
Wow, that was an absolutely beautiful play coming through from UTG, but now they've got to be careful, as we can see Overhaul keeping a very, very watchful eye right there on their position. And now, I mean, they're facing quite a bit of a challenge, right? As we can see, they are trying to get their players back up, trying to get that res on through, and they do succeed, but now it's going to come that tricky rotation to get themselves resituated back in towards this next phase. We're looking at Overhaul's approach here. They are going to be making it so difficult for UTG to get a successful rotation out of that position, and to add to that, it is going to be the blue zone that'll be closing on in as well.
Yeah, I am a little bit doubtful if this rotation is going to work out. Bomba, you're going to have to get into the blue. Unless he's healing right now, he's getting bandages. He might be. Oh, yeah, he's tanking it. He's tanking it. Yeah, he makes it in. That's fine. Though the Lamborghini can see is fuming a few shots, and that car goes to smithereens. So I'm not sure how far they're going to be able to actually make it. Oh, he's smoking even more. It's not looking good. They need to try and leave the vehicle. They're going to try and crash into a tree or something. Can they make it out in time? It seems like they will. And they find himself refugee right behind that rock, and now the smokes are going to go wide. So UTG are still holding on. That was a risky play, but it worked out.
Yeah, and only barely so. As we can see, that vehicle definitely not looking too great. But now it is down to the south, as we can see. Better Than You trying to just inch their way a little bit further forward. And of course, right up ahead of them will be the players there from Nucleotide, also looking to gain their own bit of entry point into that zone. Oh, JP gets traded off, and with that, UTG now make their way back into the lobby. It is, of course, now going to be Nucleotide just starting to, you know, just fortify or defend this position down south as Max boy. Oh, Max, down you go.
No! I'm sad. No, this is the saddest day of my life. But yeah, that's going to be looking like the end potentially of the team of Better Than You. As I still have one player trying to hold on by a slither of HP. Okay, well, I'll take it back. He's done. Better Than You eliminated in 6th position. 5 teams now remain here, DK. And it's time to push because the last circle ship, phase 6, actually no teams were in there, so the math rush has already begun. Some teams already found positions such as Mint Gaming Club. They had the wide split earlier we talked about, and they were continuously scouting, getting that information, and now they have a really good spot to play from. And potentially the only position that gives you really good hiding spots and good angles, so you're going to try and play around that. And Flowers already spotted out a few players here, but not going to go for the spray just yet. He's waiting for the prime time, but NV should be their main focus because that is the team that could pose a serious threat to their location.
Yeah, I mean, Nucleotide could definitely throw quite a few spanners in the works, but now it's going to be Flowers trying to pick up the trade, and up comes Giant with some beautiful hits. But that is such an interesting play because they find themselves all the way up in towards the north. That, of course, at least being the players from Overhaul Esports. Only one elimination to their name. I'm not quite sure whether or not the rest of Mint Gaming Club will be able to get to Flowers. Otherwise, they'll just have to send a few Flowers back into the lobby. Meanwhile, Kabir now coming under pressure. As we can see Kaki Crew trying to apply a bit of pressure coming in from the southwestern side. Blue zone hot on their heels. But look at that. Omer also just holding on towards that western angle.
I like how you put an accent on that one there. You tried, I respect it. But yeah, Ace is currently still trying to push his way forward there. Doesn't have the information on players of Kaki, it seems. Just going for some random nades, which is like the best way to deal with those kind of smokes. Molly a little bit short on range. Going to try and... Oh, that one could be good. Potentially, we'll be able to spread over to Midnight. Goes for the spray one. Whoa, how do you see that? And he goes for the spray once again, looking for Midnight. Trying to eliminate the entire squad on his lonesome, and he's feeling... What?
Wow.
How do you do that? How do you do that? Okay, I mean, he's just in a league of his own, it seems, but Omar, Team Aces just eliminates the entire squad here, and already up to 13 eliminations. These guys are... They're popping off. I mean, Omar is popping off his day, I think it's clear to say.
Yep, I mean, that's some next level playing coming through right there. And as we can jump over to Mint, we can see, of course, Reckless now also just looking to add a few more of those eliminations on board. Already sitting on 9 collectively. Reckless sitting on 3. So, oh, here we go. That push coming through. Oh, Giant just tries to dodge that ball as it comes rushing straight on forward. But at the end of the day, it is going to be Mint Gaming Club picking up that winner chicken dinner. And alongside that, a very decent amount of eliminations coming through as well.
Yeah, really good play actually from them. We talked about the early split, right? It seemed like they played around that really, really well, and then they just kept getting back together, getting back into good positions. The priority on the eastern side, sure, I think losing Flowers was very unnecessary. I think it was a little bit greedy almost in the approach, but I think that was the only mistake I can really pinpoint in this game for them, because it was very well executed, it was very clean, and it's very by the book, I would almost say, right? It's just simple. And when you do like simple plays like that, it just works. You just can't really go against it. And they just had some really good gunplay that just kept pushing teams away from them. I can't argue with anything that they did here. Mint, that was a very clean game. I cannot take it away from them. And now my question is after a game like this, right? Because it was so well executed and by the book, as I mentioned, can they do it again? Seeing the gameplay like that and how dominant they were in this type of lobby, I expect another chicken dinner very similar to this because that was spectacular for Mint Gaming here.
That was mint, right? That was just absolutely mint. Well done, well played. I had to. How could I resist? I mean, the opportunity was there, but yes, beautiful performance coming through from Mint. And now all we got to see is that consistency pushing through. I mean, they did show a little bit of that potential coming through in the respective days of the semi-finals, making their way to here. But it's great to see teams rising to the occasion, right? Bringing in a few of those surprise performances. And I mean, another team that we also saw really popping off was the players coming through there from Aces. I mean, there were some really surprising players right on their front as well.
Yeah, I mean, Homer in particular, we had some weird fights happening at some point. But you know what? My man came out on top, and that's all that really matters. So they were able to get himself some really good clutches. I mean, it was really down to not really the rotations, because the rotations, like, they were struggling a little bit to get in positions, but just the individual gunfight of the team was very impressive, right? And I think that sometimes is enough to just push you over the edge and to actually get you in those good positions because you have that extra gunfighting prowess to actually push yourself forward. So I'm really happy with how this first game went, but we did not see game changes. I'm like thinking, where's game changers? Did they even start the game? Were they even on the lobby at the start? Because I didn't see them. I don't know if you saw them. So I want to see game changers because I missed them. We saw them playing day one of the semi-finals. I missed the lads, but yeah, they were just not there this game.
Yeah, we did. They were in the lobby, but we weren't seeing such a aggressive performance like we saw coming through in those semi-finals. So maybe they're going to be looking to change things up a bit. And of course, speaking about changing things up, we are now also going to be taking a quick look to see who our MVP for this last match will be. Any predictions?
I predict it's going to be Homer. Homer. That's my prediction. Yeah, really good sum. I mean, 6 eliminations, not able to quite reach the 1,000 damage margin. If Kalaris was here, he would be biting his nails. He's not quite there, though. But yeah, I mean, once again, the individual prowess of this player in particular really allowed to push Aces even further and beyond in this game. I mean, a very similar question as what I said about Mint Gaming, right? Is can they replicate that kind of success? Because I would say you have just one good day, that could be enough for you to not only put yourself in first place, to also potentially hold on to it if you even just have an average second day, right? So these are teams like Aces. You're going to be also looking at teams such as Dauntless to go himself a few amount of eliminations, UTG International, and also, of course, the Mint Gaming Club did really good. Like, these are teams that are off to a really good start. You don't have too many games, so these games, more than anything, count so much more in the grand scheme of this tournament. So yeah, really good stuff, and especially for Omer, like 6 points, that could be the difference maker at the end of the event.
Yeah, as we know, all the points matter, and of course, our MVP is going to be the players there from Team Aces as well, right? So not only do they get the MVP, but they get the MVT as well. So no surprise on that front, but just look at the damage there. 23 17, absolutely beautiful numbers to have alongside those 13 eliminations coming through. And now if you pair that with the placement points, it's definitely going to look quite comfortable coming through for the players there from Team Aces.
Yeah, I mean, they almost done all of their points that they had in the semifinals in like this one game alone, because in the semifinals they got in total 27 points. So like they're already pretty much there in like one game alone, which is absolutely insane, and that's without a win, right? So very impressive stuff from Team Aces. I'm hyped to see if they can try and do even more. But then we're talking about Team Aces that got himself the MVP and the MVT. We got to talk about Mint Gaming Club, right? And this came in as a little bit of a surprise, because when you look at teams that qualified for Group B, Mint Gaming Club is the team that actually qualified in 8th. They had like only 7 points ahead, which actually in over 3 games, 7 points is actually quite a lot. But only 7 points ahead of Squad X in 9th. That's 17 points. So they were also a potential underdog coming into this, and man, they surprised me. So it seemed like teams did definitely put the work, put in the hours. They stayed hungry. They went to devour. I got the lyrics wrong. I tried, man, but didn't quite get there. Yeah, I think it's good. We've seen some teams that did put some work in the background, and it did pay off big time coming into this first game.
Yeah, also another team that was quite satisfying to watch was the players coming through there from Overhaul Esports. But we'll have a look at that a little bit later on as we look now at our head-to-head here. Mint Gaming Club coming in with their 11 eliminations. versus the 13 coming through there from Team Aces. But you can see quite a considerable difference with regards to the damage dealt. I mean, had Team Aces been able to convert all that damage into eliminations, I do think that would have been a pretty impressive amount of elims to see. But also, we have a few of those grenade elims coming through there for the side of Team Aces. And that is what we saw coming through from Omer right there at the very end of this phase.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we were seeing coming out from them. Some really good oppressive play style. So really happy to see it. And we're going to be able to see our head-to-head of play is going to be Omer. Of course, we talked about it with his almost 1,000 damage, 6 eliminations, but heavy contested by FlyGod, actually. 6 eliminations to his name, almost reaching the 900 damage mark in this game. And only 2 assists, so it seemed like they were trying to snatch away a few eliminations for themselves, but I cannot complain. You know what, I would do the exact same if I were them. If not, I would even nade my teammates. But I don't think those really award you with eliminations, so I would still give it a fair shot. Yeah, though, looking at that, you're going to be seeing some great stuff from Mint Gaming Club. We're seeing great stuff already from Team Aces. This is a good time, I think, DK, to remind the viewers at home that we currently are running the Aces Dynamic of the Day, which is a little bit of a question that we set up for you guys, and if you answer correctly, there's a chance for 5 winners out there in the comments to win 900 UC. So what you have to do to enter, you've got to answer this simple question: which team will take the lead at the end of today? Not only do you have to answer, you also have to enter your game ID, and you will enter automatically the raffle to join the 5 winners to take home 900 UC to put up on your account. I definitely feel like I still want to vote for Game Changers, but on that first game, I got to say there's some new contenders here that could be aiming for that first place today.
Yeah, and I'm expecting to see the players not only so Mint Gaming, as you right, we're going to be looking to see that consistency come through from them for the remainder of today. But also, I'm quite curious to see what overall Esports are going to be bringing in, right? They really overhauled their performance today so far in this first match. Again, consistency would be absolutely key here. And as I said, I'm warming up with my puns, so expect a few more to be dropped in as well. But with that, I do think we're also getting ourselves a little bit closer to, to seeing what that Miramar action could be bringing in as well.
How do you say it again?
Murmur.
You gave it a fair shot. But with that said, I do believe we are heading over to a little break, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, that's going to be awkward. So we'll see you guys in just a bit for our second game of the day. It's going to be on Miramar. Is it not the break? It's not the break. I guess it's not the break. It is the break.
From the brain, speaking my lesson. From the brain, seeing
to the North America Campus Series Season 2. This is the first day of the finals. Already, first map absolutely popping off. A lot of action, as you saw there in the replays coming through near the very end. But of course, now it is going to be time for us to head over onto Miramar to see what the teams will bring in. But before we go too far, right, Max, we need to take a look and see what the points are and how many points these teams were able to bring in this last performance, the first performance of the day.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see how many points have been able to be taken home by some of the squads. And man, Mint Gaming Club with 15 points of the chicken dinner and the 11 eliminations, already setting up a pretty hefty standard, I would say. Here was those 26 points. Though, you know, we made a prediction of like what could be the point bubble for the semi-finals, and we said like around 25 to 30 points, right? Looking at this, I would like to see a potential contender for a win, I would say. If we have a big pop-off, I would say would be around 60, 70 points. That's my type of prediction I would go with. Like a team that I think is going to pop off is going to be 60, 70 points. So Mint Gaming Club really already potentially halfway there. And if they get themselves another win, like they could potentially push even further. And that you got that point sponge too that's really felt by a big majority of the lobby. Look at that at the bottom. Gaming Reapers, Deadly Divs, Core, 4-Piece, Mavericks Esports, like Game Changers, getting 2 to 1 points each, and most of the points being picked up by Khaki Crew and all of the above. It's rough for some of the bottom teams. Lucky enough, there's still a chance for them to make a comeback, but because you don't have so many games, right? One game, that's like 1/6 of your potential points already down the drain. So you can't afford to have too many bad games like that. Otherwise, your chances of, you know, a podium finish are already pretty much done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think a team like UTG is going to be a team to watch because, I mean, they are sitting on a grand total of 8 eliminations, the third highest on the lobby so far. So who knows? Maybe Miramar could be exactly that match in which we see them just rise to the occasion and come in with a bit of that runaway performance. But now, yeah, there's definitely quite a bit of a bubble being formed, at least with the top 7 teams. And I mean, you're saying 70 points is that now for the team sitting at the top of the leaderboard, or are you thinking about the top 5?
Like first place. I'm expecting around 60, 70. If it's a really good one, it could be 80. Like that's what I'm expecting. But I'm expecting at least one team to get like an over a 10-point average eventually. So if that's the case, it should normally eke more towards like those 60, 70 because we have 6 games. So that's my prediction. But of course, going to be seeing how things are going to work out. And here are, of course, going to be our maps of the day to look once again at what our schedule is going to be. And first wrangle already down the drain. We're done and dusted. So lucky enough, if you struggled a little bit on the first wrangle, that's fine. You got another one tomorrow. But that research is going to have to be done here, DK, to try and hopefully fix those mistakes of the past and look into the distant horizon.
Yeah, and of course, there's going to be a lot of those horizons coming through on Miramar. Not so much over on Sanhok. We know that's a lot of close quarter engagements that will be coming through from that front. So excited to see what that will bring. But for now, we got to dust it all off as we get ready to hop straight on board, moving into the lovely, lovely Miramar for a lot more of those long-range engagements. And I mean, again, this is the opportunity for teams to kind of bring in a bit of a change up from what we saw over on Erangel, and also in preparation for a little bit of that close quarter engagements. But who, in your opinion, who would you say was the best long-range assault team?
Oh, I thought you were going to say player. I was like, man, I don't remember. I don't know. It's so long ago. What do you mean? No, in Miramar in particular, I think there was one team that did impress me a little bit when it came to that map. I mean, one of those was Better Than You, and I would also have to say Forsaken Gaming, but I'm going to stick with Forsaken Gaming. That was my team that I think was pretty good, and yeah, I would like to see them potentially be the team to take themselves a chicken dinner. It was a little bit of a slow start for them, but I think from what I've seen in the chat, there's a lot of support for Forsaken Gaming, and though DK, I've been reading the chat. No, maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault, and if that's the case, I apologize. But it seems like people don't quite understand the giveaway they're currently doing with the Azus Dynamic of the day. Once again, it's very simple. If you want to enter, not only must you type in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, in one comment, which team you think will be in first place at the end of today. Okay. You also got to add your game ID in the chat in the same comment. So you got to put 2 things. That is, which team you think is going to be first, plus your game ID, so you can receive potentially 900 UC. There's only going to be 5 winners, so you better be fast. But just to keep in mind, so the game ID was forgotten by the majority of you. You could have won, and because you didn't put the ID, you didn't win. So you don't want to do that. That's not cool.
Yeah, so if for instance, let's say there was a team in the lobby called DK, Reach, I know, really a random name that I'm just coming up with on the spot here. But if that was the case, I would say DK was going to win, and then I'd put my player ID, which would be 1253, whatever the numbers are. All of that, one message posted into the comments.
We got him.
There we go. Exactimo. But of course, speaking about Exactimo, right? The team's finding themselves with a lot more of a southern flight path coming around this time, and that zone just being what it is, taking a beautiful shift up to those far northern reaches.
Yeah, it's Miramar for you, right? Or as DK would call it, Miramar, apparently. That's why we're going to go there. But yeah, you still got a lot of easy ways. Like, you got that big highway over to the western side. It wraps around the west of Leopoldo if you want. So that's a really good option for, like, Cora in particular. I think for them is going to be really good. Eastern side, you can just wrap around Minas Generales, Junkyard, Al-Azhar, Cruz del Val to enter, like, through the east of a water treatment or Hacienda del Patron. So sure, it's not like the best phase 1 circle and plane path combo, but I've seen worse. Very, very clearly, I've seen it way, way worse. And if you put like 2 brain cells into it, which is way more than I have, you could enter the circle, hopefully without too many hitches. So yeah, I'm not really too scared with this one, and we'll see. But a few hot drops could be happening in Los Leones, which I believe we did see on one of the Miramars last week. So teams should be a little bit respectful, but it's Los Leones. It's a wild ride. You never know what's really around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it does look quite colorful, particularly down towards Los Leones. And even I'd go so far as to say Chumacera, as we can see a lot of teams now just occupying those positions. And speaking of Chumacera, it is going to be the players here from Overhaul. Admiral now looking to administer that first nade, sending it through into Mint. A quick reposition coming through there. But again, a little bit of a split up position play coming through from Mint. And yes, Fly God flies on through with those shots. Omega coming in with a quick retaliation. But now they've got to act quickly because Overhaul and Mint are going toe-to-toe right here in the compound.
Yeah, here we go. It's going to be Fang looking for the engage. The Res will not be allowed to go. The Res did stop, but man, Omega popping off with Giant able to come in from the backside. There's only one player remaining. It's a 1v2 inside this building, so I'm not really hopeful on it. But he's still going to give it a shot. Still wants to potentially get his player back up. Flowers is a little bit too far, so maybe you want to slow things down, Reckless. I know your name is Reckless, but don't do what your name suggests. Just calm things down a little bit. Hopefully your teammate, there you go, Flowers and Knight joined up with a party, but there's another player still here, DK, of Overhaul, just further in the distance over to the western side. The moment he joins, this is going to be even harder for Mint to be coming out on top of this fight. So, man, if you want to win it, it's going to be now. Otherwise, 2v4, I just don't see them coming out on top, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge, but unfortunately, we know Omega already just being quite a boss player right here, picking up those first few trade-offs. Now the rush comes through. Giant feeling the pressure boiling on in as that rush is boiling up. Flowers, the last hopeful now for Mint. Let's see whether or not Admiral will be able to get that jump shot in.
Nice.
Yes, indeed. With that, Overhaul walks away with the first squad wipe right here on Miramar.
It was not as free as I expected, DK. I'm not gonna lie. There was a moment in time where I was like, wait, do Ming Gaming actually have this? I think it was just maybe a little bit of miscommunication happening on the other side of Overhaul. Like, they sent some players outside of the building. There was 2 players still inside. So, like, it did allow, like, they did give a multitude of, like, 2v2s. So that was a little bit scary for a second. But luckily enough, they just kept pushing and they were able to overwhelm them at the end. But it was still a little bit spooky, a little bit scary. So hopefully we're not going to see too much of that. Because they already lost 1 player, and that is definitely not one thing you want to happen to you in the early game, especially when it comes to Miramar. Though, Los Leones, I was a little bit spooked, I was a little bit scared, no potentially fights happening, but it seems like all of the teams have separated from one another. The fight's not going to go any further, which is always a big plus for me. So, good to see, as Melodic is just alone. He's... Yeah. That's sad, kind of. It's very poetic. I don't know. Maybe not, but...
But also, it might be a bit melodic, right? So we don't know exactly what it could be. I mean, I'd love to hear the reverb right there in Los Leones. All the echoes that could be bouncing off of the wall. Seeing that it's so abandoned, but I mean, it's good to see the teams really starting to kind of dissolve the tensions over in Los Leones. Really starting to disengage and start spreading themselves out a little bit more. It was odd to not have any major engagements really taking place but of course that only means that we could be seeing quite a lot more of that in the later stages. Already we do see a few good rotations coming through though. I mean, we've got Core positioned up in towards El Pozo, Hacienda del Patron, but some, you know, some love coming in there as well as Forsaken Gaming has taken up that position. I do think it's a good call though. I mean, smack dab center zone. It is a little bit down in that goal, as we know, but looking at where the rest of the teams are, I do think they can actually afford to spend a little bit more time getting their loot sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like we're already 6 minutes into the game. I hope their loot is like mostly done and dusted. Maybe you're missing out like a tier 3 helmet, a tier 3 vest, but I think teams should be able to look for opportunities to enter the circle by now. Rebecca also looking to push their way towards Khaki Crew. Just got to be a little bit careful how they're going to make that rotation. Yeah, nothing really strikes me as like a bad rotation per se. Like, we've seen some really good ones so far. Deadly Divs going for the wide eastern rotation I mentioned earlier to the east of El Azahar / Cruz del Val. Intrigued to see what the entry point is actually going to be. Like, they're going to try and enter into water treatment. Are they going to try and go maybe for wide rotate into Crater Fields? There's a lot of options for them as things get set. And even for Core, there's a lot of options at play. So, yeah, though currently at the southern side, like, there's a lot. Like, there's half of the lobby just a little bit delayed on this rotation, and they're a little bit all over the place. Intrigued to see what's going to happen in like the next few minutes when we see where Phase 2 is going to go.
Yeah, and of course, speaking about where Phase 2 is going to go, we do see one successful entry coming in the chat there. Yay! So shout out to Noob.
Woo, got it, 2 Noob. Good job, mate.
There we go. That's what we want to see. Yeah. You know, at least someone somewhere will get into the rhythm of you know, what's supposed to go down, and that is what we've got now coming in with the teams.
I feel like someone's just going to be like, oh, that's how you do it, and he's just going to copy his game ID, and that like the giveaway is going to be won by 2 Noob. Like, right, okay, you got to put your own game ID, okay, you got to put a little effort if you want to win the 900 UC, okay. Now, see, once again, if you do want it to the giveaway, because there's a lot of people not doing right, you've got to say which team you think is going to be in first place. Plus, you need to add your game ID. Otherwise, how are we going to give you the loot? How are we going to give you the stuff? We can't give it to you if you don't give the ID. So please put it. Otherwise, me and DK, we're going to get angry. You don't want to see us angry. Okay? Do it right.
So, but that of course then means there's 4,500 UC up for grabs in total, right? So the first 5 comments to get it right will win will each win their 900 UC to walk away with. But as you said, Max, we can only give it when we know what the player ID is. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's like you know, I don't know, just fishing with your eyes closed or something.
As a threat to you guys, if there's not 5 people who entered because you keep doing the mistake, I'm going to enter with my alt accounts, okay? I'll take it. I'll take it. It's mine. I'll get some skins and stuff. No? Just saying. Okay, Phase 2 circle though did pop around. We've got to get to Sarah's topic eventually. It is enter up towards the northwestern side of San Martin. A lot of very interesting locations. I think in Miramar, this is my favorite circle shift on Phase 2. You've got some high ground terrain, you've got some city finishes, you've got some really good slopes to play around, you've got some really strong compounds outside of San Martin. I love this, and I think this is a very good testament as to how good a team currently is on Miramar, because you need to adapt so much depending on wherever the circle goes, depending on what type of terrain it heads towards. So I think this is a very good test to see which team could actually prevail on this map of Miramar.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be quite the test on their rotational skills and the positioning to come in alongside that. But for now, the Gaming Reapers are going to be just out there sipping on some blue juice as they find themselves having to apply all the meds and get themselves blue juice, right? So this is a thing that I figured out is a thing here in Africa, right? As they out sipping blue, right? In the blue zone. Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah, it is. I found it out during PMPL, so woohoo! Yay!
That's a sentence. I mean, it's different from Papa Blue from Mustache Day, I'll give you that much. I've just got some variety now to the vocabulary for us PUBG mobile casters, it seems. It's always good to have. But though, currently going over this position area we have, it's going to be Khaki overlooking positions inside of San Martin, seeing who they're going to be potentially looking at here. So, a little back and forth. I haven't even spotted out game changes at all, which is weird. I feel like they're lurking. They're up to something. DK, I'm telling you, game changes. They wouldn't be this silent. Something's going on. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, we did see them being positioned over in towards Chumacera, but now it's going to be a little bit of that trek. They were a little bit closer to that southern edge, of course, sharing that space with the players coming through from the Overhaul Esports team as well. As we can see already, Overhaul starting to move in from that southern side, and a little bit over towards the east, we of course have the players there coming through from the side of the Nucleotode side as well. As you can see now, beautifully, there we go, nice and big. Oh, there we go, game changers starting to come up from that southern side, heading in the direction there of Monte Nuevo, trying to get ahead of that blue zone closure. But yeah, it's going to be quite the trial and potential testament, yeah.
Now seeing game changers here, finally into the southern western edge. Going to get to UT International right in their backside. Right onto the northern end of Monte Nuevo, so some gatekeeping could be happening. I actually see game changers doing a little bit of a U-turn there. Like, oh, maybe they're going to gatekeep us on the edge of the blue. We don't want that to happen, so let's go for a little bit of a wider rotate. And you never know, might have an easier time actually getting into phase 2 circle. Though most of the teams currently are going to be inside the circle itself, which is always good. Not actually surprised, no one is actually playing on the power grid location, especially this part that's north of Picado. Like, that has a really good overview position. No one's up there, which I think could have been a great opportunity to not only scout, but maybe take a few pot shots at some teams and slow down their rotation in tracks. Gonna have a little replays of last game, which is always good to see.
Oh, yeah, this was a few of those beautiful plays we saw coming in, and Gato coming in with a beautiful shot. Drusa keeping a very watchful eye right there. Oh, I mean, we saw some devastating nades coming through while we are watching a little bit of that that PUBG GTA action coming in, as well as we do see JPK pushing up the hill, and it is going to be majority taking up the majority of the hilltop. You know, completely isolated and a lot of area to kind of try and play with.
I think we should create a new rule, which is if a caster does a pun, you're fined. I would just, that's your day rate. You're done.
That's fine. That's fine.
We'll give it to charity or something. We'll turn it into something positive, you know. Like it's a good thing for a bad thing, you know. At the end of the day, we'll see.
Well, I'm gonna be poor then.
Okay. I struggle to see where like that's my problem.
More,
you know?
more than what I already am, right? So I'm gonna be even more caught up in a tough position. But yeah, I mean, that could actually be quite an interesting thing, right? It's like if there's a phrase that gets dropped or a specific thing, you know, like make it a game between casters and donate that to charity.
Like I did with my parents. If you swear, like put dollar in well, not dollar, euro, because I'm European, but you put it in the pot. So that's for vacation. That's for Disneyland. And we never went to Disneyland, but it's good to dream, I guess. Yeah, Drusa though playing it. Oh man, he instantly lost that gunfight. Holy crap! Drusa out of the game. Seems like not yet. Still chance of a res, but things aren't looking too good for him. Tyson on the other side looking to go for the push. Mavericks are struggling to hold on here. DK. Let's make it through inside, so Dago's going to be able to actually help out, and seem like Drew will get rezzed at Molly. A little too close for comfort, and actually too close for comfort. Drew not only does he get rezzed, he gets instantly knocked back down once again. OnlyFans will also follow suit. Seemed like that subscription where it ran out, and now it's going to be Gunda looking for the fight, and actually able to win it out. So there's still a chance, a big chance for Mavericks to make this fight go back in their favor. And look at Minato doing his work in the background, taking himself another 1v1, but apparently not able to win it with the UMP. The laser gun is not going to work out. That's Gunda now, trying to go for the res. Got a 5-second timer. Seems like the res is also coming out on the side of BTY. Seems like we might be back to a 3v3 situation here in the side of this compound. And Drusa pushing it. You might want to go for the first aid, mate. Don't rush it.
Yeah, of course, Ten's now pulling off that first race. You can see Max Boy getting ready to push, and now is going to be the moment of truth. Gunda now just also taking up a beautiful off-angle position there. That first elimination coming through in their name. Drusa getting down once again. OnlyFans now finding themselves in quite a spot here. As you can see, Ten's just trying to make it a 10 out of 10. Yes, indeed. With that, it is going to be the end of the road for Mavericks.
What a lad, Tens. That was insane. Just picked up himself a little sneaky 1v3 at the end there. Got himself every single elimination. Really good to see. Love to see it. Though the fights are not stopping just yet. Though I do want to highlight, Dutch, we have 2 new people who entered the giveaway for the Asus Dynamic of the day. Congratulations to, well, not congratulations because you just entered, but it feels like I have to say like you guys almost won because you entered, but like Mello has entered the giveaway and now Maina YT has also entered the giveaway. Congratulations guys, you guys did it, you entered the giveaway. Now we'll have to see if you win, but you did the hardest part, good job.
Yeah, I mean that's the first hurdle to cross. You know, include your player ID alongside your prediction as to who you think will be the team to take the lead after today. And now, of course, it is also going to be Ducky taking a little bit of a lead, being the first one to drop down, get into some hard cover as MG now also steps up for their opportunity to get shot at.
Yeah, taking a few little one-taps on 78G. I think he hit like 2 bullets on Ducky, so yeah, he got himself a little bit of resources going to be used on the other side. It's always nice to see that happening. Iceberg, though, also scouting for the rest of his team. I got these names. I don't know why. It's just these names I think are like some of the best names you could have. Is like a name. There's simple, easy to remember, and it's got good branding like Iceberg. That's good. I love that. I wish I called myself Iceberg, but I didn't. Maxman's definitely not great, but I don't know. I should have. Yeah, though, Midnight pushing up for Khaki Crew. You know, oh my word, MG, that nade was disgusting in a good way. And Midnight is fortunately going to suffer the wrath of that nade and can still get rezzed up, but it is going to require a lot of effort and time used up by the rest of the crew to actually get him up. So maybe a risk to go for right now.
Yeah, that would be a good place to say OMG, as we did see some beautiful things coming through right there. And now also MG coming under a little bit of fire. Those beautiful third-party angles just working out quite favorably. But now also, I mean, Khaki also in a bit of a position. Midnight still just looking for that rest to come on through. But I'm loving how the teams are just applying so much pressure, moving onto the side here. Oh, San Martin and MG now going to be coming through with that elimination, picking up Midnight. There we go. That's what we want. But now will we see even more as Admiral also rolls on through. Ducky coming in with a beautiful trade-off, gets the confirmation. And that is the Gaming Reapers off to an absolute blaze right here. But of course, they're not out of the woods, as we do see Overhauled Esports now also finding a little bit of that pressure cooker, as we have the players there from Nucleotide looking to bring in a few disruptions of their own.
Yeah, they drank the blue apparently, DK. It's not going too good. Too many shots and it didn't quite work out for them though. MG, still on the receiving side. Raiden there, going to try and smite him down. But the molly seemed like the information was lost midway and Raiden's not really sure of their exact pinpoint location. So a little bit rough to move away from this high ground position, away from San Martin on the southern edge. And Raiden luckily has his teammates right behind him, so the assist is still there, but I think Khaki Crew is going to be the one to really gatekeep this team potential rotation. We'll have to see how things are going to go. Here you go, the fight going further. Raiden forcing his way to peek over. Was Londi, Coldy also going to try and assist that push. But here's it, one nade, that's all he could get, and it could be huge. The nade is a little bit too far, a little bit undercooked, but the idea was definitely there.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite challenging playing on that edge. Oh, I do believe that was a flashbang maybe coming on through. Now it is going to be Game Changers looking to step up to the plate once again. Ooh, MG gets traded off as we saw. Eric now also looking to bring in a bit of a play. Those nades just raining on through. Goldie, beautiful vantage point you see being brought in here. It's the players from Nucleotide also now start to move on forward. Game Changers, this could be the game in which we see that beautiful performance we had coming through from them in the semi-finals, making its debut right here in the finals.
I thought if you was going to say this is the game where everything changes for Game Changers, I was going to fight you IRL. I would have literally come over to Africa and we would have had a proper brawl in the streets. But you know what? We didn't make it, so proud of you. Improvements. Unfortunately, improvements is not going to be made by Gaming Reapers as they take a massive L on their forehead and they get eliminated in 11th position. 10 teams now still up and running about. As it seems like Gaming Change is going to pick one fight, and that's going to be apparently making it closer to Khaki Crew. They've got to be careful. There's still a team inside of the compound up northeast, so you've got to be a little bit careful how you approach that position. But so far, Game Changers, in terms of scouting, you can't really defeat their position. They have the best position in terms of information gathering. The question is, what are they going to do with that information? Did they not know Game Changers were there? I'm surprised. I thought they would speculate the team is still there, but that's one sick headshot from Cody. Love to see that. And the flush comes out with the UMP. Good to see. That's the second elimination their game. Still up as a four-man crew. I'm telling you here, DK, a chicken dinner could be lingering around the corner for Game Changers.
Yeah, they could really be stepping up to the challenge here, and that was such a beautiful shot coming through there from Goldie. But of course, as we know, Blue Zone catching up with them. Meanwhile, a little bit further away, it is going to be the Deadly Divs, as we see Raid Dog also now just trying to bring in a few of those sprays. Meanwhile, Bomba is going to come flying up in towards the zone. Very difficult position to come in, looking at where all the other teams are positioned. But so far, a majority of the coverage, they're actually working out quite favorably for Bomba, as they're able actually to pull in towards this Hacienda del Patron region without taking too much damage.
That reminded me of my driver's license exam. That's exactly how I got my driver's license. Same way. Same way, dude. 360, like that was sick. You get it. There you go. I want the cool points I can tell you about. Big rotation on Hacienda del Patron, and that is a circle shift I have not seen in, I would have to say, years, DK. Like, Hacienda del Patron finished. I think it was one of the first tournaments I've ever casted back in 2019, and I have not seen one since. And it could be happening right now, so I am pretty intrigued to see how things are going to wrap up in this second game of the day for the finals of the Campus Series North America Season 2. EUTG International not going to be seeing the end of this game, though, as they're going to be eliminated in 9th position. 8 teams still up and trying to aim for this second chicken dinner of the day. The Game Changers did suffer a few casualties, down to currently 2 players. Ali going to be taking a really big amount of damage. Lomdi on the back end not going to be able to really bring too much support, while Better Than You are just vibing. They're chilling inside of this under the Patron and just spraying on literally every single pixel that moves.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking to be a really good position for Better Than You. I mean, all they got to do is just hold on to their angles that they've got. And with that, all trucks now also feeling a few of those hits come through from the third parties. But Tens are picking up the nade, setting it over towards Kore. Let's see, will this be the nade to end it? All does cause quite a bit of damage. And now it's up to Quads to see if they can make it up to JPK. It is a very risky play to bring on through, but Tens, of course, now not stopping with the nades just yet. Got to be cooking them up, and with that, it is the end of the road. As we do see a beautiful Elam coming through there. Tens just lighting it up.
There's a threat to their current location. I was about to say it's Dauntless. They're entering through the northern eastern edge. That is the position I would say that Better Than You currently lack information. They're not scouting. They're not looking over to the northeast. So Dauntless, probably down to luck, but they put the exact location where there's a chance they'll be able to push their way inside of Hacienda del Patron. So we'll have to see how things are going to go. 4-piece. Still up as a 2-man crew is SK19 and 78G. Try to nade that location. I think nades are like the only way for them to get onto Deadly Divs. Nice little nade through, gets a little bit of damage done, a little tickle, almost. But the circle's moving in 20 seconds right now, DK, so the clock is now ticking against them, and Deadly Divs are not going to give that position away for free.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not going to be giving that away, but we also now see the players there from Better Than You also just trying to contest their full potential play. The zone having shifted a little bit further down towards the southern side, so it does look somewhat favorable coming through for 4-piece, but with that, Iceberg does get traded. SK99 now also getting hit with a barrage of utility as the Deadly Divs are getting ready for their potential push. They have a good setup coming into the zone, but now Dauntless positioned over on towards that more northern side, also looking to just blaze their way on through, trying to pick up a few potential trade-offs. And this is where it gets super challenging, right? 9 players left, 4 teams remaining, and a really challenging angle to play from, as we can see. 4-piece now coming in with a quick rush, trying to challenge. Oh, there we go. Deadly Divs having that one trade-off come in, but SK99 also now getting sent back. It is up to 7-8G. to get the team back into fighting form.
This is going to be the easiest chicken dinner I've seen in a hot minute, DK. I mean, potentially, because Dauntless, as you said, he got into the back angle, they got himself in the position that was not really scouted too heavily by Better Than You, so now the imposters are in. See how they're going to be able to win out this fight, but I mean, really, the main focus for them in this game is potentially to just eliminate the remaining team on the other side, which currently is 4-piece, and then have a fight for that chicken dinner at the end. But because the circle, I can't quite see on my minimap, it's a little bit too close, but I believe it went right onto where Dauntless and Tens of Better Than You currently are. So, I mean, 4-piece will have no option here, DK. They have to cross this location, and without a lot of utility, this will be a very, very rough task at hand.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely challenging, but I love this play coming through from Better Than You. I mean, position on the high ground. You got to hope that that zone kind of still favors their current position, but this is now where we see Tens and Max Boy just looking to leverage the living heck out of their position, trying to make that spray on towards 4-piece. Dauntless, they're just going to be as quiet as they possibly can, right? They just want to try and ride out the storm while keeping a watchful eye over on towards 4-piece, also looking for a few of those easy elims to come their way, but Zone is making it quite challenging for these positions to be, overly successful.
Successful, though, is not the word I have in my mouth for 4-piece. Unfortunately, this is... I mean, there's a chance, you never know, if the fight happens between Dauntless and Better Than You, like, a third party could be happening, but it's a matter of seconds before the circle starts closing. We're on the final phase of this game, on the final circle. So he's going to center dead center. I mean, he's good. That's the thing of centering. But yeah, the next one is going to be going dead center of the circle. So you have a good idea of where things are going to go. And 4-piece being on the closest side to the edge, going to be the first team to move away. So I do think that Better Than You are going to capitalize on their position, which is on the roofs. And then when that happens, potentially drop down and try and eliminate Skipper and Cream of Dauntless. Skipper, one of our top fraggers actually of the semi-finals. So having him at the end to close off potentially this game is going to be a big advantage for the side of Dauntless.
Yeah, it could be a beautiful play coming through for them, but I am a little bit worried about 4-piece's position here because they don't have a lot of room really to work with. Once that blue zone starts moving, they're already up against the walls. I mean, looking at Better Than You and Dauntless, they've got a lot of space to move about and just trying to evade the blue zone closure while still retaining a decent amount of coverage. So, I mean, if 4-piece is going to bring in any play, it has to be a super quick play, and hoping that they've got some potential utilities to get themselves better situated in this phase.
I have to see. Circle's still not closing up, but will not be long until that starts to happen. Seems some smoke's getting popped out by Dauntless, it seems. Unless it was a smoke from 4-piece, which I'm unsure if that's the case. If that's a nade from 4-piece, blocks our visibility away from Dauntless. Like, that's a really good smoke, but I believe it came out from Dauntless. There you go, M4, and there comes out. I'm not going to be able to quite hit the mark. And now through the smokes, 78G is going to try and make a run for it. Can he make it away? He actually makes it to another wall. Like, that is a mad rush that actually paid off, it seems, but can't really say the same for SK99. He gets instantly shut down. No way you're making it further from that. And he made it to, like, the central position. Like, literally 78G might have just stole this game away because Dauntless and Better Than You have no option than to fight each another, and 78G is, like, vibing in the center. This could be a massive upset here.
It could be the game-changing push going through there, but now we see Tens coming in with a beautiful jump shot. Down he goes as 78G now also gets caught out in the blue, picks up elimination along the way, but with that, it is going to be the end of the road as the final blows are dealt, and it is going to be Dauntless walking away with the winner chicken dinner.
Hell yeah, Dauntless, my boys, my picks, going to be able to actually get himself the win on this game. And man, this was supposed to be a Better Than You win, but there was one angle, one option to enter this circle, right, to get towards the Hacienda de Patron. It was the northern eastern side. Enter that so well, and then they were just fighting inside the building, leaving the side of Better Than You on the rooftop. You couldn't have made it any better than that. And man, the execution was clean from start to finish. So really enjoying it from Dauntless, and I said, like, having Skip at the end, pretty good thing to have on your side if you want to try and wrap up the game. So yeah, I mean, this is why they were my pick. Like, they got no chicken dinner in the semifinals, yet were first place. Was how many points? Like, it was mental in the semifinals. They had 54 points out of 3 games without a single win, and they gave themselves a win now. Like, this is a team that I think could be our first place contender at the end of these finals.
Well, they definitely could be a first place contender, and all they got to do is just, again, build up that momentum, continue to push themselves as far as they can in what we've got left for today. We know tomorrow, yet another opportunity for teams to step up and bring in even more improvements. But already, I want to say the teams have really shown a lot of growth coming through from the place that we saw coming in on the semifinals, and now in the finals itself. There's, again, some beautiful performances, beautiful strategies being applied here. But that final zone was quite challenging. I have to commend 78G though for that push, just getting themselves better situated in that zone. And I mean, that kind of vantage point that we saw Tens up on the roof, it was a great opportunity for 78G just to rush forward and make it up to that wall. I think if that play didn't happen, we could have seen the players there from 4-piece actually making their way back into the lobby a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I mean, I put 4Piece completely out. I thought it was going to be like a third place maximum they could have actually got. But yeah, as I said, really good from 78G. Though we're going to be looking at our MVP of the game. It's going to be 78G. It's going to be a little bit of an upset for the MVP. I think it's going to be a player from Better Than You. I think that would not be too big of a surprise. But here we go. The MVP is actually going to be Better Than You Tens. And there you go. Not really too much of a surprise, right? Playing that rooftop position. He had all of the angles in the world, all of the information that you would need to really get yourself 8 eliminations in a game like this. And yeah, they got to Hacienda de Patron early. And I gotta say, it's one thing to have Hacienda de Patron come your way into the circle, but to use it properly, which they did in most cases as a 2-man team, by the way, which is not easy, they didn't make it really worth their time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things could have gone a little bit differently, but at the end of the day, it is going to be Better Than You walking away with the MVP there as well. So the most valued team with the performance coming through right here on the lovely Miramar action. But look at the damage though. A decent amount of damage, actually considerably higher than what they were able to convert into those eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, actually, 1,100 damage comes out from one player alone, which is Tens, and then you got an extra 600 comes out from the rest of the team, and they were down to 2 like pretty early in this game. So, man, yeah, Tens definitely putting his team on his back this time. Not something I like to say too much, but you know what? It happens from time to time. It's fine. Nothing to really be too scared about. 9 eliminations, Better Than You are coming in big on this game, and I mean, we still haven't seen the big game from Game Changers, unfortunately. I still want to see it. I was hopeful. I was like, things might be happening in this game. They got a good amount of information. They got a pretty straightforward rotation path, but it was not an easy one for sure, so it didn't quite work out. But man, yeah, Better Than You stepped up. Dauntless stepped up. I think these are 2 teams that came into the tournament and we were like, yeah, we expect big things from these guys. And on this game, they did not disappoint.
Yeah, and of course, as we can see, Better Than You also bring in quite a few eliminations, sitting on 9, but also 4Ps also stepping up to the challenge, coming in with their 8 eliminations. A little bit of a difference with regards to the damage dealt. So you can see 4Ps being a little bit more selective with their engagements and a lot more success coming through with the shots that they were able to put into the opposing players. So, you know, good run either way for Better Than You, and of course the players coming there for 4Ps, but also quite a satisfying performance coming in for the players there from Dauntless. You said in over on Erangel that they were a team you're going to be looking at to see what they'll be bringing in, and they stepped up to the challenge right here on Miramar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I said for Erangel. I think as like a whole, Dauntless was like one of my teams, but they had like some pretty good opportunities on the Erangel also. But yeah, I'm happy with how things worked out. I think 4Piece was a team that I was still waiting for them to prove themselves a little bit more, because 4Piece, whether they qualify, was in Group A, if I'm not mistaken. They actually went third with 32 points, and they got actually 1 win. I think the reason why I was a little bit skeptical was because most of their points came from that 1 win. I was like, I want to see what they can do over like a bigger amount of games, which in this scenario, can't really complain, is working really good for them. So 4Piece are definitely aiming for the moon. Though head-to-head for the top 2 players going to be Tens versus Skipper, and I think this is one of our like key highlights of our storyline is going to be Tens and Skipper throughout the tournament. And so far, it's been working really good, and Skipper able to do some really good work at the end to close it off, and Tens able to hold on to that high ground position on the rooftop for the longest time. Like, these are 2 players that I think could make it actually pretty fun, competitive. Like, I didn't think I would be saying this coming to the campus series, but there's some really good individual talent here that I think could go further in PUBG Mobile Esports.
Yeah, it'd be quite exciting to see how, you know, what heights both these players could reach in the competitive scene itself. But definitely a really good showing coming through here on Miramar, and I do think this is going to translate quite nicely over in towards Sanhok when they have that opportunity to get, you know, quite aggressive with the close quarter engagements. And we also know, like, looking at Sanhok, it is a map that any of those mistakes that you make, you will get punished for them much faster than you would, for instance, on a map here like Miramar. So definitely a few interesting approaches that could still make its way onto the battlefield. But big shout out, big ups going to Better Than You Tens, and of course Dauntless Skipper. Some really rad performances coming in this last match.
Really rad performances. You've been working with a tech girl a little bit too much, I would have to say right now. So, you know, might be careful. We'll have to have a little bit of a chat. But I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go back to a break. So with that said, myself and DK, we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back in just a bit for our 3rd and last game of the day. Is going to be on Sanhok. Be there, be square.
Back to the North America Campus Series Season 2. This is our first day of finals. Of course, already 2 matches have been concluded. We're getting ready to roll into our final match of the day, heading straight over into the jungles to see what Sanhok action will be in store for us as we head over onto the battlefield. But of course, next, we have to take a look at the points once again to see what the teams were able to bring in over on towards Miramar and how that then affects the overall rankings for the individual teams.
Yeah, really intrigued to see what it's going to be looking like right now. And Team Ace is going to be jumping up to 29 points. Currently in the lead without a single win. So these guys are looking at pretty comfy. Well, better than one of the teams that were at the bottom. And with this game has been able to make a massive dash towards the top. Actually, they started off apparently with 0 points to themselves. Well, actually, no, they didn't. No, it's 14, 15. No, actually, they didn't get that for the last game. Sorry. My math skills are undefeated, unparalleled. No, they actually are pretty easily. I think even a first grader could do better than me. But Min Gaming Club has fallen off a little bit, while like Dauntless picked up 4 pieces, made a massive dash towards the top, pushing himself in top 5 with that second place in Miramar game. While overall Esports, Nucleotoid, Kaki Crew and UTG having a little bit of a slow performance, so they did slip a little bit, but nothing to be too scared about. 15 points still is still a decent average to have, so they can still climb back up. I'm not too scared, but when I'm looking at Mavericks, looking at Gaming Reapers, looking at Core, like all those teams on the right side of your rankings, like they're all on single digits compared to the rest is on double digits. That is a position that, with now 4 games remaining before we know our victors, that's not a good position to be in. So hopefully we can see the mad dash happen on the next game on Sanhok.
Unless, of course, they're going to surprise us with a absolutely awe-inspiring performance coming in the 4 remaining matches. They definitely need to look at stepping up those performances coming into the remaining matches, right? Only 4, as you've said, 1 left for today, and then that's half of the matches done and dusted. So whatever they weren't able to accomplish in today's performances, they'll definitely look to put a little bit more focus on that coming in to that last day of play. But now we are getting ready to jump over into a little bit of that Sanhok action, and I'm curious to see what's going to be happening here right now, how the action will unfold. We know flight path not going to be too important, but of course it is going to be Sanhok, so there could be a few surprises along the way.
Yeah, could be a few. We'll have to see how Sanhok is going to be going. I think last time we did see some early fights inside Paradise Resort, and I think we saw some in also Painan. I think there's a little bit of a skirmish also in Boot Camp. So yeah, those are drop locations that I wouldn't be surprised if the drops still happen, right? But if the research has been done, some teams have been able to adapt and they know where the other teams rotate. Hopefully those won't happen. But it is Sanhok, is the map known for its incredible madness, and I will not put it against them if it does happen. Though, it's always what makes these Sanhok games a little bit more interesting in the early games, that little bit of a hot drop. So I can't have it against them, as I said. And yeah, the one part that's a little bit of an issue, I would say, DK, is that we're looking at some of the teams that were at the bottoms of the ranking. If you're relying on a Sanhok game to initiate a comeback, fair to say this is not the mappy way you want to do it because of how unreliable the map is, and it's very hard to remain consistent. Some teams can do it, but teams are like playing in PMGC or your PMPL, so it can be a little bit tricky. So we'll see how this third and final game of the day for day 1 of the finals of the Campus Series of North America Season 2 will go down, DK.
Yeah, a lot of excitement potentially. It's about to make its way on to the battlefield here, and some lovely scenery we've got coming through for the Sanhok once again. But of course, we still have our Aces dynamic of the day happening, right? And which the viewers stand a chance to win themselves their share, and also getting 900 UC in. So the first 5 comments to get it right. Now, what they need to get right, of course, Max, is going to be which team will be taking the lead. So far, it is the players there from Team Aces sitting right up at the top, but you have to give us your prediction. Leave your prediction alongside your game ID in the chat, and if you're one of the first 5 comments to get that right, you could be walking away with an extra little bit
of UC. 900, pretty decent amount, pretty decent. Try and enter, guys. Do it right now. There we go. Plane path, as I say, don't really care. It's sad to say, but nobody cares about the plane path on Sanhok. It just allows you to get to your drop location maybe a little bit faster. Though, what if I actually forgot what happened? I think it was like day 1 is UTG versus another team, I believe it was. I can't even see who they are right now, but in Cap Alpha, we had a little bit of a back and forth core. I'm not sure if that was actually them, but the hot drop is going to be happening once more. UTG International must be careful, must be wary of what's about to go down. Painan, 2 teams currently in that location, going even further than Painan, so Painan might be completely unoccupied, and it's going to be a central southern phase 1 circle. As Camp Hour fight here, DK, it's already underway.
Oh, we love to see this. We love to see it. It's going to be Kore and the UTG. Bomba already on the front line, looking to explore the options. We got that first knock already making its way on towards Kore as well. But now this is where we look to see what UTG will do. Are they going to look to close it up, just follow through with the aggression? It is going to be Duck, though, to get the first hit up into Trizzy. So beautiful trade-off going both ways.
Nice little shots with the weapon I'm pretty fan of, so pretty good usage here. Bunsom going to try and jump his way up here, get himself some few shots in, down to 3 bullets now, so probably want to try and wrap around here with a barrel, but he's going to go for the punch. A little bit risky when you haven't eliminated the entire team, but you know what, can't complain. That's going to be their first elimination. A second should be confirmed very soon, DK. And that's it. Quad's also going to be taken out of the lobby very swiftly, but Trixie was a casualty along the way, unfortunately for them. While majority is just staying over there in the shadows and maybe waiting for an opportunity to get a play of UTG down, but yeah, not the way you want to start for either of these teams.
Yeah, definitely a very, very challenging start for Kore, but now majority going to be in a little bit of a spot of bother here. We also have JPK just holding on that off angle, so not all hope is lost. But looking at JPK, could see a little bit of that off angle third party action maybe making its way on through. Could be a beautiful distraction now, but majority gets spotted as JP finds that hit, and now it's all down to the last remaining hopeful, JPK. But I'm not too worried about JPK, right? Because we have seen some good performances coming from JPK, not only on Miramar, but also on Erangel.
Yeah, I mean, majority is that guy, you know, and when you were at school, you would try and play hide and seek, and you would hide behind, like, your curtains, but you would see the feet. Like, just and he's like, we know you're there. It's like, no, don't. And just easy elimination after that one, so I don't think it would get eliminated in a real game of hide and seek. That's like a different version I haven't heard of. A bit brutal, a bit extreme, but you know, you never know. If you're found, you're found. And well, then you die, I guess. I don't know. That was a bit of a tangent, man. So some people have some different childhoods, I guess. But so far, we're going to go back into the Painan position. I thought there was, sorry, not Painan, Paradise Resort. I thought there was a little bit of action, but nothing's really going the way of Gaming Reapers, which is good for them. They got already 2 eliminations, a little bit of success in the early game. Can't say no to that. But the phase 1 circle is already wrapping up around these teams. So Paradise Resort is not going to be in play. So they're going to have to start to think of what their next move is going to be. Where they're going to rotate. The Paradise Resort terrain, especially south, can be a little bit arduous to rotate and move around. So just something to be careful about. But otherwise, I don't think there should be too much competition in that location.
It does seem to be a little bit of smooth sailing coming through for the Gaming Reapers, and yeah, I mean they not looking too bad with regards to those eliminations on the board, already sitting on 2, but there is a lot of action that could now be coming in on that bootcamp side, right? We can see the players from Overhaul Esports already now just taking occupation of the Bootcamp Hills to the south. We've got the Mavericks up ahead of them. Loving this contention coming through, but overall, not in the most comfortable position. They've got another team just positioned towards that western side, so they definitely have to keep their wits about them before taking any of these engagements.
Hopefully so, Omega. It always scares me, DK. I don't know if it's just me, but every time like a player wants to play these sniper tower positions and there's a gas can, just pick it up. Like literally one nade, take the nade damage, and you also take the gas can damage. Thank you. Got rid of it. Appreciate it. That's what I want. It always scares me. Like you're literally standing next to a bomb right now. I think I've seen only one game right now where like the finish was closed off because of a gas can explosion. Like that was once, and it was a Vikendi game. I remember it's like ages ago, but it's pretty wild when it tends to happen. Though what's also wild is going to be Maverick Esports looking for a push to overhaul, but nothing going to be coming from it just yet.
Yeah, we're having a bit of a stalemate, at least for the time being, but some good positions either side, right? Mavericks in a good spread. I mean, we got Drew holding a good angle. We got Gunda also holding an interesting angle, but of course we'll get spotted out by Admiral as the shots then come through. And that was what I was a little bit afraid of. I mean, you got to choose where you got to be hiding. Maybe again of that, a little bit of that, curtain hiding play coming through there, being somewhat exposed. But now Drusa is going to be moving in. I guess see what the rest of the team will be doing. We do see a little bit of a wider spread though coming through. We got Basie also right there on the front line. But again, now better than you moving in right behind Omega as well.
We saw UT International with the early eliminations. They got tied for top eliminations with Team Aces that are currently in first. So UT International putting some effort into this game, it seems. Pilot going to give himself a nice knock there with the DBS. Always the best weapon. The ka-chunk, always extremely satisfying. But Overhaul Esports, here we go now, trying to go for a little bit of a sneaky snake rotate, trying to be a little bit hard to really pin down. Don't really want to get overwhelmed by the position of the other team, but over to another team that's going to be fighting. It's going to be Forsaken Gaming taking a fight versus Mink Gaming Club. That nade, nice try to bounce it right off that tree. Didn't quite get the success intended, but with a good idea now is to reload the DBS, because that push is happening, and he did spawn in as a three-man crew. He's the solo remaining player of Forsaken Gaming. Not going to be too easy. Nice molly though. Gave himself actually got a little bit of damage if I'm not mistaken, but he's walking in it. Pilot, no, that is not the play. And that is it for Forsaken Gaming, eliminated and swiped off the planet off in 15th position. Unfortunate way to go, but it had to happen.
Yeah, a big rip right there. I mean, Pilot, not well. At first, that molly looked pretty great, but once Pilot went into that, not so much. And now it's going to be Omega trying to pick up that trade, but OnlyFans comes through with a beautiful shot. Basie also now getting it traded off, and with that, it is looking pretty tough now as both teams have been taken down to 3. Got this rush coming through from Drusa. Again, the molly's coming out. Will it be on point this time around? Let's see. Oh, so close to the players there from Overhaul Esports. But Mr. H-Tag holding strong here alongside Omega. Oh, but those nades definitely doing the reach.
Yeah, with the smoke's going to make it a little bit really hard to confirm those eliminations. Oh, that nade is absolutely immense. Omega is still alive? How is that? What? Giant Tim's getting himself the knock. There's another one's going to be happening. He's right in front of him. How the hell did it take that long? But you know what? Omega does get knocked away. Down to a solo player, though, currently. Oh, no, they still missed a hashtag. Where is he? Oh, he's over on the angle. Okay, didn't quite see him over there. Mr. Hashtag still then could be able to get the res onto Omega, so I'm sorry to say, but that push from Mavericks is just not the way to go. You're just giving your position away for free. You're just going for pushes where a lot of off angles are just going to be able to get the better of you. Not the way to go, but DK, another fight's going to be happening at 4-piece. They're back for more on this game. After a fantastic second place on Miramar, they're aiming for the win potentially on the Sanhok game.
Yeah, and now it is going to be our MVP from the first match, feeling a lot of that pressure now heading in their direction. But here we go. Ooh, with Aces just now down to VSM as we do see Dauntless Skipper coming in with a beautiful third-party shot to send Team Aces back into the lobby. OnlyFans, also now getting picked up, and with that, it is looking to be quite a bit of damage dealt into the side of the players from, the side of Mint, I believe that was? No, that was Mavericks. Yes, Mavericks. And now, of course, it's going to be the players from 4-piece looking to hold their own as we got the Deadly Doves now just looking to contest them for this compound. Oh, but Iceberg cannot hold on as the nades are just too immense. SK99 and Burger King coming in with a bit of that reinforcement. But will it be in time? Will they be able to get themselves a bit of a bounce back from this play? So far, it's looking good, as we can see, of course, Deadly Doves out on the outside. Oh, beautiful trade-off. Burger King gets taken down. And with that, the Deadly Doves live up to their name.
Red Dog is going to be able to win out that fight at the end and able to hopefully get all of his teammates up and back into the fray. Good stuff from them. Though Swift in over position. We're about to go into phase 3 right now, and that's where things starts to typically spice up. Phase 3, phase 4 is when teams need to fight for positions. You've got a lot more breaches start to happen, but we're already down to 12 teams, so maybe it'll not heat up that quickly after all. Dauntless still. A lot of scouting has been done on the more eastern edge of the map, currently next to the river coast. And still looking for information towards that cave location. So pretty stoked with that current position. I think the amount of info they're going to be gathering from that spot is going to be huge, but Deadly Divs on the other side, currently unaware, it seems, of Dauntless location. Never know if they intend to go for a push. Things could get deadly, but DK, it is one thing I hate on Sanhok. It is a quarry circle. And it seems like that might be what we have. And that is a rough run of events for a lot of these teams. As though Dauntless is going to be happening towards them. And that's going to be a good start. The game stuff. The knock will be traded away though. Cream out, Kowalski also out, Skipper and Private trying to gain that position back in their favor, but Skipper way too far to really back up the rest of his team.
But also that's a super exposed position coming through there from Skipper. Up on the high ground, there's no real vantage points or no real coverage to make much use of. And there's going to be the Gaming Reapers now looking to apply that extra bit of pressure now onto the other 3 players. And of course, that nade finds its point, but up comes the rush as the Gaming Reapers now look to pick up at least 3 potential eliminations. Private is going to be heading further down the hill, and it's going to be Cream and Kowalski now looking to hold up on the high edge here, but will they be able to make any successful pushes coming through? As we do see Mavericks now also getting eliminated, but it is going to be Melodic now looking for these angles.
Really good stuff from Gaming Reapers. I mean, they know that there's no way Dauntless are going to be able to really get themselves the reses. Maybe Cream, though, he's not going to be able to get it. He's out, bleeds to his death. And Gaming Reapers just not pushing it. They're not going any further. Like, if we go, we're going to be showing ourselves over to another player of Dauntless, which is Skipper currently. We're just going to let the guys bleed out, just rain some nades on their heads, and those are 2 easy eliminations. And Private normally should not be able to really even make it out from that position. So, yeah, Gaming Reapers, I don't think they could have played that any better right now. So really good stuff from them. Currently also in the circle, but as I said, potential quarry finish. You don't want to get late to a quarry finish. That's the main issue. Late rotating quarry finish, teams already got the good angles, and you are done most of the time if you rotate late. So just something to keep in mind. Hopefully they'll be a little bit cautious as Skipper. Sure, trying to seek vengeance for his fallen teammates, but from that distance, I'm not really expecting too much.
Yeah, it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge, but of course, Skipper needs to be super careful. Otherwise, it could be a little bit of a bumpy ride heading down into those lower positions.
He wants to.
Cave. Yeah. You can see, of course, Skipper just trying to get a good lay of their current position. Meanwhile, there's going to be the game changers now pushing in from that southwestern side, just across the waterway there from the Deadly Divs, and UTG just out there sipping on some blue as they too look to make their way back in towards the zone. Now we know this is a strat that comes through on Sanhok, teams coming in with those heal strats, but it's a little bit too early and we don't see enough meds really for that to be a successful option. Of course, zone now just moving a slight bit further away from that quarry region, and of course a very happy Max in the background.
Yeah, hey, you can't see my camera right now, but I'm dancing, I'm vibing. We're not having a quarry finish, I mean, unless we have like a very unfortunate amount of circle shifts over to the east, but it does seem very unlikely, so I'm cool with that one. Better than you, also in a very good uncontested western location, so could be a very big contender for this 3rd win of the day. We'll see if they can try and get themselves a back-to-back podium finish after that strong Miramar finish that they were able to get themselves earlier. Deadly Divs, Red Dog able to save his team from the brink of death and able to hopefully push them even further and beyond in this game. Man, 10 teams. This game has been basically a speed run from a lot of these guys, but Bobo gets a perfect angle onto Lomdi. And yeah, game changers. I still said it. I want to see a big pop-off from these guys. Game 1 didn't happen. Game 2 didn't happen. I still have hope that this Sanhok game could be the resurgence of the game changers.
Yeah, well, all we can do is wait and see what they will bring in, whether or not it will have our resurgence come through. But meanwhile, it's going to be Bobo to get a few hits flying their way as JP is now trying to reach all the way across from that bridge. Blue Zone will continue to shift on forward, applying even more pressure to the teams. It is fourth phase, and Raydog picking up a beautiful shot right there.
Wow.
As the game changers try to make their way across. Look at the sprays. Goldie also getting picked up in the process. And Deadly Divs just popping off once again.
That was a sick spray from Raydog. Really loving how he played that one out. And Raiden, wouldn't be surprised if he's actually going to be the one committing to a heal strat. That is like the play that makes the most sense. As you said, 3 players forward. Leave one to go for the rares, and then you never know, things might be to get a few more placement points or eliminations, depending on how things actually pan out. Deadly Divs now, their focus should move away from actually defending versus game changers on the river side, and it would be more focused on making the cross over that road, which is going to be, it seems, their next focus. Gaming Reapers on the high ground position, potentially scouting. There's a lot of trees, so very hard to scout where Deadly Divs currently are, but all you need is one pixel out of place spotted away by Gaming Reapers, and that could be the end of your story.
Yeah, definitely could be. Of course, UTG is still going to be fighting their way on through. Meanwhile, we do see our elimination leader coming on in. And of course, it is going to be JP now meeting a few hits. Raiden also just hunkering down in the little shack
41?
here. Trying to bring in that hill strat. And this is the setup that you know is going to be aimed towards that hill strat. Deadly Divs now down to 4 trucks, but Bomba, will not allow that hill strat to come through.
My man's got 41 first aid. It's okay. Oh man, it's been a while since I've seen like 40 plus first aids on one player. God damn it. I mean, I can't. I think they've done their research, right? I mean, they looked at the other lobbies of Group A, Group B in the semifinals. Like, no one's doing it. Like, this is a free second place. They're gonna do like just like Ton Jiao Bao in PMP Western Europe, where it's just like heal strat, you get second place almost every single Sanhok game, and that's like 12 placement points every game, like minimum, which is mental to get. You get that for free for like very minimal effort, so can't complain. We'll see if you can actually click the button though. Like, that's the hard part, to actually click the button. One misclick and you're done. And I think that's the worst way to go, and go because of a misclick. Yeah, just be careful, I guess.
It's all down to timing, you know. Not only just pressing the button, but you got to press it at the right time. Meanwhile, we do see Mariso coming through with some great button pushing there, picking up a beautiful hit. And MG also going to be trying to reach across. It is going to be now Voltrax rushing in right behind the players here from the Gaming Reapers. But look at that spray down though. Eric getting picked up. Up comes the nade. Could this be a potential insane play now for Voltrax?
Really good nade, actually forced them away from the little corner so you can actually keep on pushing. Really good Voltrix. They've got to switch over to the weapon, the nade in hand. Oh, I know what you want. The nade in hand was not the play, and Voltrix is going to be biting. Unfortunately, a massive L, I guess that's a sentence. I don't know. You get the point. He's out. He's done. Now moving over to another fight. It's going to be Envy here. Nucleotoid Esports. And seem like they're also suffering a lot on the northern edge. Still down to 2. You got Chills and Avi still alive. Avi, I don't know how the hell he survived, but he's still up and going about. And able to slowly get himself a few first aid in. There you go, that's one first aid, up to 75% HP. He's going to be ticking up. He's got himself those energy drinks and those pills earlier, so he's still going to be about. Gaming Reapers, this is probably going to be one of the hardest rotations to execute. But if they play their cards correctly, if they time it correctly, in particular with that third party, they might be able to make it over to the other warehouse.
Yeah, they're still looking pretty good. I mean, you can see all 3 players up, 6 eliminations to their name. Good potential coming through, but up comes that rush now as we see Ducky and Melodic now making that push, but the sprays come through as Kaki also get ready to welcome them up in towards the zone. Kaki crew coming in with a beautiful spread, and now all they got to do is defend their position. Meanwhile, the Gaming Reapers are going to be looking to push in from the southern side, but this now allows for even more potential advances coming through. Oh!
Now, even I got spooked by that one. I saw it coming. I was like, Ducky tried to leave, but the cook was too good from Kaki Crew, it seems. And instead, it's not going to be an easy rotation. This is Kaki Crew's game to win, potentially. But you got 2 big warehouses. Mint Gaming has already closed the gap. Dauntless are going to be focusing down onto Ryujin. Known to Midnight has already been knocked away, so it's a 1v2, and Skipper is there, which is the most important part. Skipper taking a little bit of damage, but they do overwhelm them. Kaki are now down not only to 2 players, down to 1 actually. They can still get himself the res, hopefully, but they got rid of this 2-man split. Now, all of the focus of Dauntless after that is to push their way inside the warehouse.
Now all the pressure coming through on what is left of the Kaki crew, holding on towards that western side. Private now also getting traded there as Mint Flowers sends through a beautiful hit, but also taking quite a bit of damage. So it is going to be onto Feng now. But unfortunately, Dauntless down to 1 as we now have 12 players remaining, 5 teams left to duke it out. And Kaki crew also still in a slightly exposed position, particularly over to that eastern side. But look at the rush now coming through. Better Than You coming under some severe fire as they go toe to toe with the players there from the Gaming Reapers. But with that, it is quite devastating now.
Yeah, Ong able to get himself some really good impact. Like, most of the players would just stay in the warehouse and like chill. Like, he actively went outside to get the angles. Like, that is very impressive stuff from Kaki crew, especially from Ong. Now here we go, down to 4 teams. Dauntless, Skipper still there. Private, it's a little bit too pressed apparently to leave that little bit of a tower. What a nade from Flowers though. Goes out while Maxboy still lingering in the background for Better Than You. This was a team that had a really good spot a little bit early in the game, right in the mid game. That could be happening. Kaki crew get overwhelmed. That's it for them. Skipper making a rush. It's down to 2v1v1 here, DK. And Skipper has the perfect angle, but does get surprised on the receiving end.
Oh, up comes Flowers now. With that, it is the end as Feng gets that final confirmation. Maxboy now, the last contender, looking to step up and just make it that extra bit more challenging for Mint Gaming Club to get the winner with a chicken dinner. But it is going to be Feng picking up the nade. Does find a bit of damage on towards Maxboy. Now comes the rush. Oh, beautiful trade-off. And with that, it is going to be the winner chicken dinner locked and loaded as the players there from Mint Gaming Club pick up a beautiful chicken. I think this is their second one for the day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It is. They start off with a chicken dinner and they bookend it with a chicken dinner for this first day of the finals. Man, oh man, Mint Gaming Club making a statement here. They're not messing around. They want their prize portion of the $8,000 here for this tournament, and they are going home big. Like, man, I was a little bit skeptical at one point how they were pushing it, but the fact that Dauntless eliminated that 2-man split away from Kaki crew just opened up so many options for other teams to be able to go for the push, and they went for the northern side. It was the position the least defended, and there was so many angles they could play around. So I'm really happy was how Mint Gaming played it off. And yeah, as we said, 2 wins right now. They'll currently sit himself as a very clear contender for that first place, and with 2 wins in a day, they should be like leaps and bounds above the rest with, I believe, Dauntless, because that's another podium finish from Dauntless. So these guys are popping up, and also Better Than You, like Better Than You, yeah. Dauntless, and also Mint Gaming Club. Like, these are normally our top 3 contenders.
Yeah, I mean, well, not both, but all 3 of the teams you just mentioned, they looked absolutely phenomenal stepping up into these later few phases. I mean, Mint, they were actually sitting on Feng and Flowers for the longest time, you know, only coming in with those 2 players, as you said, playing that northern position, just trying to, being very selective with the engagements, right? Not just jumping at every opportunity that potentially came their way, but also, yeah, that play coming through from Dauntless, you're splitting up that 2-2 angle for Kaki. I do think that was also a bit of a potential turning point for this match. But of course, it is time for us to head over to see who our MVP for this match is. And, you know, I wanted to ask the prediction for you, Max, but it does seem we might have some time.
I'm going to say Ong from Kaki crew. Even if he might not be the MVP in terms of stats, I think that him able to eliminate what I think was 3 players was his teammate of Better Than You was huge. I think that if Better Than You do not die in that fight and actually make it over to the wall, I think Better Than You win the game. Ong was able to really hold on to their position. I think picked up like 2 or 3 eliminations in that fight thanks to Ong. So even though he might not be the MVP in terms of stats I already stated, he's the MVP of the heart, and that's what truly matters.
Well, here we go without any further ado. Oh! Okay, so it's going to be Feng. So you had a similar kind of sounding name, but it is going to be Feng coming through there from the Mint Gaming Club, walking away with those 5 eliminations and 667 damage. Back that up. So definitely a good conversion rate coming through there for Feng.
Yeah, really good conversion rate, actually. Really happy you pointed that one out for a player that went out a little bit early in this game. 90 minutes and 22 seconds of survival time. Yeah, it seemed like this team has made their statement that, like, as I said, they're gunning for that first place. They want to take that first place position, and they are definitely on track into doing so. We still, like, we're already halfway done, Ryan. They got themselves 2 out of 3. Like, their win rate is of 66.666, like, repeating 6 every single time. So it's super impressive stuff for coming out from this team. And if I'm not mistaken, Feng was also the top player from Mint Gaming Club in the first game. I might be wrong on that one, though. It's just the recollection I have from that one. But that's it. That's the MVP of this game. And intrigued to see who's going to be the MVP. I believe it's going to be... Oh, wait, it's better than you, actually. Oh, okay. I was going to say it's going to be Mint Gaming Club, but I'm wrong on that one once again. Better Than You are going to be the most valuable team of the game with over 1,000 damage done as a squad and 8 eliminations total. They did have, like, the best entry point potential in this game for a team that was not in position in the center of the circle, right? So good on them. And Better Than You, once again, are popping off with Dauntless and Mint Gaming Club to put themselves up in that podium finish.
Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful entry that we saw from them coming in on that western side. So, yeah, big congrats going out to Better Than You for taking our MVT. The most impressive team, we'll call it that. It's probably most valued team.
Most impressive team. MIT? That's something.
Yes.
I think that's like a bunch of studies you can make. I don't think that's the same thing, but okay, fair enough.
Whichever way, of course, as we head into our head-to-head, we can see the stats here for the Gaming Reapers and Better Than You. Again, very, very similar kind of performances we've got here, right? 8 eliminations to 7, 1,000 damage versus 1,400. So the conversion rate being a little bit more tough for the players there from Gaming Reapers, but still a lot of damage being dealt. And look at the amount of assists, though, coming through for the Gaming Reapers.
Yeah, a lot. 8 assists coming up their way. I'm not really too surprised seeing the kind of position they had. I'm thinking back on that fight versus Dauntless in particular. Like, that was clean. That was clinical how they picked it. They're just like, okay, we got the knocks. They're going to bleed out. Unless the team goes for a little bit of a third party and steal the eliminations away. Like, we're just going to chill and just keep chucking the nades over the side every single time. And we don't really want to give ourselves over to Skipper, which they did not do at the end. So, yeah, I think in another world, in another timeline, the circle goes a little bit further down southwest, a little bit more on their warehouse, and this could have been their win, seeing how good they were popping off, and the fact also, DK, that they were still up as a 4-man crew until very, very late into the game. But the push towards Kaki Crew's location was a little bit too much of a arduous task at hand, so fair try. But Gaming Reapers also, I would say, potentially as seen as my underdogs of the day almost, because they were slowly creeping onto a lot of these teams and getting some eliminations. So good stuff from Gaming Reapers. Intrigued to see how far they could potentially go into tomorrow's games.
Yeah, a really, really good performance coming through. And of course, now as we take a look at our overall rankings, it is going to be the Mint Gaming Club sitting right up in position with those 2 victories and 49 total points. But Better Than You also bring in an absolutely phenomenal performance, right? Sitting right there on 48 points, only 1 point behind the players here from Mint Gaming Club. So I gotta say, some very impressive numbers coming through. Dauntless also putting in the effort there. I mean, Team Aces, we saw them popping off in that first match of the day, but it was a little bit more shaky in the remaining 2 matches that we saw them move into then.
Yeah, though 15-point lead between Better Than You and Dauntless in 2nd and 3rd respectively. That is a pretty scary lead to have with only 3 games played, by the way, here, DK. So Mint Gaming Club and Better Than You are running away with the lead, which is pretty nutty indeed. I hope to see if they can keep it up, hopefully going into tomorrow. But that is also Better Than You, right? Without a single chicken dinner, if I'm not mistaken, right? So once again, proving that they get into the late game, they want to get one of those consistent fraggers of the lobby. So a little bit spooky. But one thing that's spooking me right now, DK, and you know exactly what I'm going to talk about, is going to be Game Changers. Down in 13th position, 8 points total, 5 eliminations and 3 placement points. Where is the Game Changers of Group A of the semi-finals? This is not the same team. I refuse to believe it. A comeback is still possible tomorrow, but you're aiming potentially for, I would say, a top 3 podium finish right now. They're like 20 points behind. One good game. Game Changers, they're back in the race, right? But I never seen them even remotely close today, so it's going to be a rough one for them to make it happen.
Yeah, it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge for them to pull off a successful leap up that leaderboard. But I mean, again, also very satisfying performance coming through from Dauntless, right? They've pulled into the top third, and it's no surprise really looking at the way that they've been performing coming through in the rather in the semi-final. So, you know, good up for them being able to hold on to some pretty decent consistency there. But again, tomorrow's going to be the big day, right? Wanting to see what the teams are going to be bringing in that final portion, just whether or not we'll have any major upsets coming in on the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, upsets are for sure one thing we're going to be looking at. I'm also hoping for comebacks for some of the teams at the bottom. It is not over. It's still 3 more games. If you can pop off like Min Gaming Club have done today, there's still a chance for them to make it happen. But yeah, we're going to have one more Wrangle, one more Miramar, one more Sanhok. So anything can happen, DK, and I just cannot wait to get into tomorrow's games.
Yep, and of course with that, we are going to be ending it here today. So big thank you to everyone for tuning in. Be sure to join us tomorrow as we head into our final day of insanity right here for the North America Campus Series Season 2. See you all back again tomorrow.
When you're left with a memory, it stays like this, that I'm glad that you left. I can't dwell on the things that you said. You do, you keep on placing those bets, but don't blame me when your heart isn't dead. Heart isn't dead. Heart isn't dead. Don't blame me when your heart isn't dead. Heart isn't dead. I've been cold for so long. One touch and we're igniting, setting fire to it all. You know these flames ain't going out. This building is crumbling to the